Actor Don Cheadle.
I know that we're the bright, shiny thing that sometimes gets the attention, but I would say don't listen to celebrities. You don't have to listen to us. Listen to yourself.
And President Donald Trump's son, Don Jr.
When did we have a strong economy? And I don't think anyone with a straight face can say right now. And the reality, when you look at it, it's not even voting for my father. Look at the team that's now surrounding him.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk. Listen to the man who tells you exactly how he sees it. The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, brought to you by Lowe's. Despite the fact that Black Americans drink about the same amount of spirits as their white counterparts, they only make up a small portion of those in charge of spirits companies. That's according to research done by Pronghorn, a firm that's investing in Black-owned spirits brands and works to help Black people in the industry reach leadership positions. Dia Sims is co-founder of the initiative and says the work it's doing for the spirit space can translate to any industry.
We're building it open code so that the same methodology could be applied to left-handed unicorns that want to get into oil, right? It could be to all veterans that are 6'5" that want to get into tech, right? It's much more around what's the math, the process, the training, the zip codes, the information, the inputs, the outputs, and the measurement that actually drives success.
Pronghorn has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in Black-owned spirits companies. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies to same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
What was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect that of the staff and management of Good Karma Brands, but are the sole responsibility of the host and guests of this particular show.
America may have many, many days, but they will be full of trouble. There will be no rest. There will be no tranquility in this country until the nation comes to terms with our problems.
Bringing you social and political commentary from his mouth to your ears. Breaking down the issues which matter to you.
You are not put here to be a white man's footstool. You are put here to represent the very best in God's word.
Legendary civil rights icon, the Reverend Jesse Jackson in the studio. Reverend Jackson, how are you?
Mr. Reverend, good morning on this chilly Milwaukee morning.
And I am pleased to have one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party, Chairman Bobby Seale. Mr. Chairman, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine. Thank you.
From Mr. Eric Holder. Mr. Holder, so good to see you. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, man. How you been? It's been a long time. Haven't seen you for a while.
The Dr. Cornell West. Dr. West, how are you, sir?
My dear brother, you're so kind, you're so generous, so man, but I salute you and the work that you were doing there. Doing a magnificent job there in Wisconsin.
Stream live on 1017thetruth.com. Call in with your questions or comments. 833-212-1017. Join us on social media at 1017 The Truth. It may not be what you expect to hear, but I will definitely give you what you need to know. Are you ready for the truth?
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Sherwin Hughes.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Friday, June 6th, 2025. I see no difference between the person who maybe had a really difficult day at work and they have to have a couple of drinks when they get home to relax and to unwind. They just got to have that martini, that gin and tonic, maybe a couple of beers. They got to have a beer. Got to have something to ease the tension of the day. You know, it helps them relax and settle into their evening mood. I make no distinction between that person and someone who may not drink at all during the week when they get home from work, but they party their tail off on the weekend. In fact, those weekend folks may consume just as much, if not more, alcohol than the person that has a couple of drinks or a couple of beers when they get home from work Monday through Friday. Both of them are alcoholics. I see no difference, but it's how we frame it, because it's more acceptable to come home after a long day and grab you a drink. But if you need that drink, if you have to have that drink, if you go without that drink, then your world falls apart. That is a kind of dependency. But let me be abundantly clear in all of the things that I am going to say on today's program, because I'm going to show where Sherwin Hughes sees no difference between the two things I'm going to compare. I am not judging people. I'm just saying that I don't see a difference between the person who politely and sweetly phrases the fact that, oh, I just like to have a couple of beverages when I get home from work just to relax and settle into my evening. I see no distinction, because they're using alcohol as a tool, as a crutch, as a mechanism. The same way the weekend warrior does precisely that. They go out and they party and they're kicking it and they want to go and they want to get drunk and hang out with their friends. Both are acceptable, are they not? But both can be, and oftentimes are, forms of alcoholism. So I see no distinction between those scenarios. I also see no distinction between this next thing, and I'm going to talk about this in much greater detail later on in the program. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the feud, I'm going to call it, the very public social media breakup between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Both men, whether you like them or not, extremely powerful, incredibly influential. Elon Musk holds a ton of government contracts. In fact, did you know that our U.S. military relies on Elon Musk's space program, SpaceX, so we can launch our military satellites? Did you know that Elon Musk has the power and the ability to shut off military communications if his feud with Donald Trump continues? Did you know that the hundreds of millions of dollars that Elon Musk spent to help get Donald Trump elected and other Republicans elected, which I believe led to the Republican majority in both the Senate and the House? If Elon Musk decides that he wants to move in another direction, I make no distinction. If Elon Musk, because he's angry at Donald Trump, wants to help and wants to join the Democrats, I see no distinction between Elon Musk's money helping Republicans and helping Democrats. Either way, it shows the overwhelming influence of money in politics. But because Elon Musk in one election cycle helped Brad Schimmel and helped Donald Trump against Kamala Harris in 2024, if because of their rift and their split, Elon Musk now wants to come on over and help Democrats with his hundreds of millions of dollars, I make no distinction. In fact, I think the Democrats need to have a conversation with Elon Musk. And I want people who are very staunch in their political beliefs, like you're immobile, like you're a Democrat and you're a progressive and you're a liberal and you stick to those principles. I think in these days and times, you may have to look at things a little bit differently. Yes, we know that Elon Musk and Doge did a lot of damage. It is what it is. He and Donald Trump had a falling out, but let me be abundantly clear. I personally, this is a Sherwin thing, maybe not a you thing, but it's a me thing. I see Donald Trump as the enemy of progress. I see him as the enemy of racial reconciliation. I see he is the enemy of the American people in that he acts to divide us. He divides us between national origin and race, sexual orientation. Like, he is a figure that is the poster child for the divisions in America that we know are counterproductive. And if Elon Musk has a beef with that man, and he does, oh, I got the tweets. They was going at each other like they used to have sex. You ever see just like two real ratchet people get into an internet argument. I'm not kidding you. Donald Trump and Elon Musk's social media posts about one another. And here's the thing. Elon dropped a hell of a bomb on Donald. Did y'all see some of these tweets? Elon said, the reason why the Jeffrey Epstein files have not been made public is because Donald Trump is in them. And then Elon Musk at the end of that tweet was like, have a nice day, Donald. Damn. Ooh, he got him, ain't he?
Got that T. Clock that T.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Now, I didn't like Elon Musk's participation in Doge and in the Trump administration, but if they had a falling out and if Elon Musk, and I think Elon, like something happened, right? Fundamentally, there was a split. Now people are saying that Elon was fired and then Donald Trump immediately, because there were some incentives. If you bought an electric car, you got some tax breaks. Elon Musk and Tesla relied on those incentives, those federal government incentives and tax breaks. Trump, just to punish Elon Musk and just to be petty, took away the EV tax credit. And yesterday alone, Tesla's stock dropped, I think like 14 or 15% just because Donald Trump took away that EV tax credit. Then Elon got real super mad. Oh, he had a fit. If they continue this and they stay separated, I would not be upset if the Democrats said to Elon, hey, you really want to get back at Trump? You really want to one-up him, Elon? You really want to punish him? Don't, stop communication with your military satellites, Elon. Don't do that. Don't stop your internet service you're providing to the people in Ukraine. Don't do that. The Democrats need to approach Elon and say, hey, can you give us a few $100 million so we can get some of our Democratic candidates elected to office so that we can punish Donald Trump politically? There was someone that tweeted Donald Trump should be impeached and replaced with J.D. Vance. Elon Musk retweeted that and then typed the word yes. So here's the thing. Elon Musk and Donald Trump have had a falling out. I see no difference. Because Donald Trump used to be a Democrat, but then he was accepted by the Republicans, was he not? Now he leads the Republican Party. So if Elon Musk can have a break from the conservatives and from Trumpism and from MAGA, some of that stuff is hard to forgive, but I mean, this is politics and you got to do what you have to do to win. Democrats need to have a better understanding of that. Sometimes you got to get dirty. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you got to get in bed with that special interest money, because we can't just win elections as Democrats and those that lean left politically on hopes and dreams and these fantasies of everybody working together and everybody coming together. Wake up from that fantasy. That is not the real world. Democrats need money and tons of it and lots of outreach. And if Elon Musk is mad at the Republicans and he no longer wants to give them a penny, most of them in the most recent election cycle wouldn't have gotten elected because of him. Now, if you ask me, the falling out between those two ladies, because they're arguing like women would, the reason why the Epstein files aren't public is because Donald Trump is in them. We knew that. But thank you, Elon, for confirming what we all knew. I think it started when Elon dropped however many millions of dollars here in Wisconsin for the state Supreme Court race, which Susan Crawford won over Brad Schimmel. And then Elon Musk was doing this thing. You guys remember that he was giving away $1 million checks to just random registered Republicans or whatever he was doing here in Wisconsin. Well, it failed, and it failed miserably. And I have a feeling that Elon promised Trump that he could buy the state Supreme Court race here in Wisconsin, and Elon failed to deliver. So I think the rift started there. If they continue to stay apart, and I hope that they do, because people also have this tendency to have these public feuds with Trump, like they'll work for him, they'll get mad at him, they'll blow up at him publicly, but then they end up going back to him, like they end up making up. He has this real weird, toxic kind of control over the people that are in his orbit. The Democrats need to have a conversation with Elon. And if I know Hakeem Jeffries, and I really don't, but if I know Hakeem Jeffries, he placed a call to Elon. Elon, would you like to have a, Hakeem Jeffries, he has that pause when he talks. Elon, would you like to have, a conversation about how you can really stick it to Donald John Trump. You can help us elect Democrats up and down the ticket in 2026. I see no difference if you have a special interest with a whole bunch of money that helps Republicans and Republicans win and they get political majorities, and then that special interest breaks with the Republicans and they want to help the Democrats. That is how I see American politics. So before you guys shun that, because I know some of you have this purity test, all of the people that are involved in the Democratic Party and Democratic Party politics, you must be perfect on gay issues and transgender issues, and you must be perfect on Roe versus Wade. We can't. What did Obama say? Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Because going down this trajectory where Donald Trump in his first 130 days is literally doing everything he can to destroy the country. If Democrats can get the financial assistance from Elon Musk in the midterm elections, then they need to take it. Because here's what I believe. If we get solid Democrats elected, even if it's with shady money, I think we, the people that want a more decent, honest, fair society that protects vulnerable people, protects Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, and doesn't just divide families because someone is here, quote unquote, illegally. I think that we, the American people, have the ability to right the ship in guiding the policies of the Democrats that get elected with Elon Musk money. So what I'm saying is this: get the Democrats elected, and then we, the people, will come back to the table, and we will then guide the policies of those Democrats to do more than just push back against Donald Trump, but to bring this country back to a place where we can be proud of it once again. The jury is, if I'm not mistaken, deliberating in the Sade Robinson case. This is one that is particularly sensitive to people in the city of Milwaukee, and just the overwhelming sadness that a lot of people have expressed throughout this whole ordeal. Because let me be abundantly clear. It is a horrifying situation. And ladies, I totally understand. I understand as much as I possibly can, because this has to be a fear amongst women who go out with men that they don't really know all that well. This has to be a fear. Now, for men, when we hang out with a woman that we don't know very well, we rarely think about our safety. I'm not saying that men don't consider their safety, but it's not at the forefront of our minds. I would imagine when women meet a guy, and even if he comes across as nice and as sweet, because ladies, I know you've met a bunch of really nice guys. Hell, you might have met a nice guy, dated him for a year, and he was nice and sweet and kind for the whole year, and then all of a sudden, year two, he's a totally different person. So I can understand how a woman may have a tremendous amount of apprehension over a man she's dated for a year or more, or a man that she met just the previous weekend. So I understand how sensitive of a topic this is, but I also want to be matter of fact and objective about how I understand this case. And I want to be able to do this in a way without making all of you mad. I'm not saying that Maxwell Anderson is innocent. I'm not saying that he didn't commit a very gruesome crime, but there are circumstances that we don't want to discuss because it may make the deceased look bad. But here's what I'm going to ultimately come to as far as the conclusion goes. There's 97,000 Sade Robinsons missing right now in the United States. 97,000 of them. Those women, including Sade Robinson, need to be protected. Do you understand me? 97,000 of them are missing. They need to be protected. We're going to talk more about that in a little while. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune into the award-winning 1017 The Truth's Black Business Give Back Spotlight this Friday at 3:57 p.m. between The Tori Lowe Show and Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris. I'll be joined by Erica Odom, owner of Odom Investments in Property Management. We will discuss how they are making a difference in the real estate world through property management and by offering competitive prices to buy your home. Again, that is the Black Business Give Back Spotlight with Odom Investments in Property Management this Friday at 3:57 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
It's 1017 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When it's time to upgrade your windows and doors, wouldn't you like to work with the best? But maybe you're thinking in these volatile times, I don't want to spend a fortune. Well, Pella, the best in the industry, has a product line for every budget, and right now you can get no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. And if the plan is to wait, guess what? You can get it now and wait to start making payments up to 2 years. Pella truly believes that quality windows and doors don't have to be expensive. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the U.S., you can get the look you want at a price you can afford. And with Pella's free in-home consultation, no obligation quote, and range of available financing, getting new windows and doors from Pella is easier than you think. Certain restrictions apply. Ends June 30th of 2025. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is the Sade Robinson case verdict. The jury has reached a decision. I'm assuming that's the judge, Ben? Okay. So they just started deliberating at 8:30, and they returned a oh yeah, he's guilty. So what I was telling my colleagues prior to me starting the show is that if the jury was deliberating for an extended amount of time, meaning they deliberated all day today and they couldn't return a verdict, and they needed to either reconvene over the weekend or on Monday, then there were some holdouts on that jury that needed to be convincing. But the fact that they have returned a verdict in less than an hour, I think he is going to be found guilty, which shouldn't be a shock to anybody, because this was never about, in my opinion, this was never about whether he was going to get off. They had too much evidence. Some of it was circumstantial, but the car, her car was set on fire. Her belongings were found in the car. He was seen on all sorts of cameras, either Ring cameras or other surveillance cameras, leaving the scene of that arson of the car fire, getting on a bus. They had him, on the camera that's on the Milwaukee County Transit System buses. So he was placed at a number of scenes that I would say is overwhelming evidence to a jury of his peers, a jury of lay people. But there's a much larger scenario I would like to discuss, because this situation of a white man involving himself with a African-American woman that ends in tragedy is not a rare occurrence in this country. And so what I want to try and communicate without angering too many people, because I know this is an incredibly sensitive subject, and maybe some of the emotion of this topic of Sade Robinson's disappearance and death will subside when Maxwell Anderson is found guilty and gets, I don't know how many life sentences he's going to get. Maybe then we can have a much more objective conversation about the historic pedigree of white men using black women. Think about the history of that in the United States. It goes back a very, very long time. But we also have to look at the context of the way some of these men dehumanize these black women to where 100,000 of them almost are missing currently right now. And I'll be honest with you, most law enforcement agencies just consider these cold case files. They're not even looking for these women. We have a number of women right here in the city of Milwaukee that have been missing for 25, 30, 35 years that the Milwaukee Police Department simply just, well, we don't have any evidence and there's no witnesses. We're not going to look for these women anymore. This is a real problem. She had, do you have audio, Ben? So he'd been found guilty on all 4 counts. Do we know what the counts are? I was not prepared for them to have a verdict already. Had that Had I known that they were going to return a verdict within the first hour of my show, then I would have been prepared and waited. But there was no way. No, because usually cases like this will stress you out. You know, the judge will order the jury to go home over the weekend, and they'll pick it up on Monday, and then people's anger and their tensions begin to bubble over. Because imagine the turmoil that would ensue in Milwaukee if he had been found not guilty, or if the jury was hung and they had to retry this case. There was a scenario in which this man could have been free this weekend if that jury could not reach a decision, or if they didn't have enough DNA evidence, or didn't have enough concrete evidence, or didn't have enough details from his cell phone or her cell phone to find him guilty. There was a scenario in which this man could have walked free. Now, he is not going to be free, probably ever again. But I want to, so here we go. Let me see what I got here. This is a fast developing story. Jury finds Maxwell Anderson guilty on all counts. A verdict has been reached in the trial of Maxwell Anderson, accused of killing and dismembering 19-year-old Sade Robinson last year after their first date. Anderson is charged with first-degree intentional homicide. That's going to give him life. Mutilation of a corpse. That's another Class A felony. Add 30 years onto that. Hiding a corpse. That's another felony. And arson, which is also a federal crime. And then this article from TMJ says the verdict is expected to be read in court shortly. On Thursday, both the prosecution and defense rested their cases. The defense rested its case without calling any witnesses to the stand, meaning Anderson will not testify, and he did not testify. The defense also made a motion to dismiss all charges in the case, which the judge, of course, denied. So let's see what else we got. Who has more detailed information of the situation? Here we go. What do we got here? This one, June 5th, included the prosecution resting its case, the defense resting without calling a witness, jury instructions, closing arguments, and about 10 minutes of jury deliberations? That's the shortest. How long did they deliberate for OJ? Anderson, age 34, is charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilation of a corpse, hiding a corpse, and arson in the April 2024 death of Robinson, age 19, after they went on a date in Milwaukee. The Milwaukee Journal Sentinel will again provide live coverage from the courthouse with updates and analysis. And then they have just a slideshow of photographs. Well, I suppose justice is served in a very macabre kind of way. She never should have been harmed in the first place. There were some very particular scenarios in this case, and you guys know that I didn't talk about it much because it was too sensitive of a case. It was way too emotional for far too many people. And when you have a case like this, she's a beautiful young woman. She actually was employed at the Wisconsin club where I'm a member. So I never met her, but that just makes it even a little bit more personal for me that I could have run across her. Or maybe there were times where she was at the club and I was also at the club and I just didn't happen to see her. So somewhat of a personal connection to me and to a lot of you. She worked at Pizza Shuttle. Everybody loves the Pizza Shuttle. It's a Pizza Shuttle right here in the 3rd Street Market Hall. Pizza Shuttle's got a nice thin crust pizza. So there's a connection here. The family wanted to, and I think they may still be pursuing legal action against 2 of the establishments that Sade was seen at with Maxwell the day of her disappearance, which was a Tuesday in April of 2024. One of them was the Twisted Fisherman, which I don't go to anymore, and I like the Twisted Fisherman, but because that was one of the last places that Sade Robinson was seen alive, I don't want to go there anymore. So I have this thing. If there's an establishment that I frequent and someone was murdered there, I don't go back. I don't go back. If I'm aware, if I cover an incident at a scenario or at a location, at a bar, at a restaurant, at a lounge, and there's a murder, I don't go back. It's a personal thing for me. So I will not be going back to the Twisted Fisherman and Duke's on Water Street. I have no problem ever going back there because I haven't been there in probably 10 years or more. But I know the family was trying to pursue legal action because Sade was only 19. And why was she served alcohol and potentially overserved alcohol at not one but two different locations? But here's what I find, I suppose, interesting and worthy of note. Now, again, Maxwell Anderson has been found guilty in all 4 counts. The jury deliberated for 10 minutes. So for them, it was an open and shut case. But I want to talk about a much larger scenario that women like Sade Robinson need to be protected, and they are not. There's 100,000 black women that are missing right now in this country, and we don't know where they are. And here's the problem. A lot of people, other than the families, and maybe Tory Lowe, aren't even looking for these women. I don't care really what somebody is into. I don't. It's none of my business. I don't know their situation. I don't know their circumstance. I am not here to judge someone for the life that they live. No, we don't want them to hurt anybody. We don't want them to get hurt themselves, as long as there is no hurt. As long as vulnerable people are not being taken advantage of. I don't judge people for doing what the hell they're doing. We come to find out that Maxwell Anderson and Sade Robinson met the previous weekend on Friday. We all thought that Tuesday was their first interaction. No, that was a scheduled date. They met at Victor's. There's surveillance camera footage of her at 19 walking into Victor's by herself and then leaving on that Friday night with Maxwell Anderson. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave you with that bit of information. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to see what kind of developing news and information I have regarding this case. Okay, so can we play the audio and the video when we come back? All right, we'll do that. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Maxwell Anderson has been found guilty on all 4 counts relating to the murder, death, and disappearance of Sade Robinson. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's your girl Noni Juice for Sweet Talks. Self-love isn't selfish. Feeling confident improves all aspects of your character, and no one understands that quite like Sweet Talks in Menominee Falls. Step into their judgment-free zone, where a staff of registered nurse injectors leads the way, recommending Botox, Dysport, or Daxify. Sweet Talks goes beyond injectables, though. They offer facials, lasers, medical weight loss, hormone therapy, and more. See why you'll want to join thousands of loyal patients at sweettalks.com.
Milwaukee has been living the high life since 1904. Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Miller High Life and Beer Capital Distributing are proud to sponsor the Milwaukee Juneteenth celebration. 2025 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Celebrate responsibly.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. Visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Here is Carrie Noni with her truth.
You know, sometimes the mundane isn't a burden, it's the beauty of living. I came to this conclusion after recently watching the movie Subservience on Netflix. It's a crazy film, y'all. I would suggest you check it out. But it's a story that explores our relationship with technology and how it's programmed to take our burdens away. This movie really got me thinking about how much we're wired to avoid struggle. We create tools and shortcuts to make life easier, whether it's robots, apps, or even outsourcing everyday tasks. But in the process, we risk forgetting the value of the little things we go through every day. Sure, folding laundry or grocery shopping might feel like chores. I literally dread cleaning up. But isn't there something grounding about them? Something that reminds us we're human. Life isn't just about the highlights or the easy parts. It's about the messy, repetitive, and sometimes inconvenient stuff too. Think about it. Who would you be if you didn't have to face the small frustrations that test your patience, or the routines that push you to show up for yourself or the people around you? The mundane moments, the ones we rush to escape, are often the ones that shape us. If life was nothing but convenience, where's the growth? Where's the grit that teaches us resilience? And most importantly, where's the appreciation for the moments that do take our breath away? So maybe the next time you find yourself annoyed by the daily grind and are on the brink of crashing out, you pause, you breathe, and remind yourself that the beauty of life isn't just in the big moments, but in every little thing that makes them possible.
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Listen to Jammin' with Juice with Ben Jammin' and Carrie Noni weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
So if you go to YouTube, you'll be able to see the video of, I believe, the jury returning their guilty verdicts on Maxwell Anderson, who was accused of the murder and disappearance and dismembering of Sade Robinson's body, and also arson because her vehicle was found burned. Very emotional case. I know that this one incited panic in an awful lot of people, women in particular, because of how vulnerable women are to a situation just like this. You meet a guy, you think he's a nice guy, you agree to hang out with him in public during the day. Because here's what's crazy. They hung out during the day. And it's not even like he invited her just to his apartment. No, they went out to popular locations on a Tuesday afternoon in April of 2024. Nothing about that seems nefarious. Ladies, I have a feeling if you meet a guy at Victor's or wherever else you meet him, and then he wants to hang out with you and you're, someone interested in him or at least curious about him, and he says, well, just come over to my house, you might be apprehensive to go to that guy's house on a first date. Now, that doesn't mean that some of y'all won't go to a man's house on a first date, but it doesn't sound as kind of a little creepy to you. But if he says, hey, well, let's go to Twisted Fisherman or let's go grab us a bevy or two at Duke's on Water Street, that seems to be much more acceptable because you're in public. It's during the day. These are, well-frequented locations. If something nefarious is going to happen, a lot of people will be around to witness it. I don't know if anyone could have foreseen, because this is a likely story. People meet all the time in this city. But there's something that's very specific about this, and I want to be able to have the conversation about what I believe Sade Robinson was doing and what she was into. I'm not blaming her for her death, and I got to make this abundantly clear because some of y'all still overwhelmed with emotion because there's far too many women that can relate to this. There are some women that have met men that have narrowly escaped their deaths. And so for those women that might be triggered by what I'm going to say or have PTSD because you narrowly escaped a man that was trying to harm you, a man that you went out with that you didn't know very well, a man that you were going on a first date with. I am not intending to trigger you at all, but what I'm saying is that you all need to be protected from monster men. And this also is a responsibility of men because we know that women in our society are vulnerable. So this is a call to men to step up because all of us know a dude like this. Just like every white person knows a racist. They'll say, oh, Sherwin, none of my friends and family are racist. You're a liar. Dudes all know another man that sexually assaults women or gets too grabby or gets too forceful with them, et cetera, et cetera. All right, let me shut up. Rick, you got that audio for us now? The audio and the video on the YouTubes. All right, I'm going to let Rick do his thing. Go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app. From your smartphone or mobile device, search 1017 The Truth, and you'll be able to see the video that we have of the jury deliberating and reading the verdict.
F1692 appearances.
Ian Vance Curzan and Megan Newport appear for the state along with Detective Joanne Donner.
Good morning, Anthony Cotton and Jason Finling with Max Anderson. Good morning again.
And good morning to all of you. At this point, I have received verdicts. They are in a proper legal fashion. Who is my foreperson? May I have your name and number for the record?
Juror number 1, Marilyn Thompson.
And you did sign these 4 verdicts and date them today?
I did.
Thank you. I will now read them into the record. As to count 1, the verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell Anderson, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information. As to count 2, we, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell Anderson, guilty of mutilating a corpse as charged in count 2 of the information. As to count 3, we, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell Anderson, guilty of arson of property other than a building as charged in count 3 of the information. As to count 4, we, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell Anderson, guilty of hiding a corpse as charged in count 4 of the information. At this point, I will poll the jury. What that means is as follows. I'm going to have the first jurors stand in the back row on the far right. I'm going to ask you your juror number, and I'm going to ask you, will I stand and your juror number?
45.
Juror 45, were these and are these your verdicts? Yes. Thank you. Next juror. Juror 23, were these and are these your verdicts? Thank you.
Look at Maxwell Anderson's face. He looks confused.
Juror 29,
Or
were
does
these
he
and
always
are
look
these
like
your
that?
verdicts? Yes. Thank you.
Tony is
Juror
upset.
47, were
His
these
attorney?
and are these your verdicts? Thank you.
Yeah, Tony's mad. I don't know
Juror
why.
3, were these and are these your verdicts? Thank you. Juror 42, were these and are these your verdicts? Thank you. Front row.
Number 5.
Juror 5, were these and are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you.
Number 1.
Juror 1, were these and are these your verdicts? Thank you.
Number 52.
Juror 52, were these and are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you.
Juror 40.
Juror 40, were these and are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you.
Juror number 21.
Juror 21, were these and are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you. Juror 36, were these and are these your verdicts? Thank you. State, are you satisfied with the polling?
Yes.
Defense, are you satisfied with the polling?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then at this point in time, your service is complete. You are done for 4 years. At this point, you are free to talk to anyone you choose or speak to no one. It is completely in your discretion at this point in time. I will come back to the jury room and speak with you in about 2 minutes, okay? Thank you for your time and attention, and I'll be right back. Thank you.
All right. Well, that was about as straightforward as you can possibly get. I'm reading some of the comments via YouTube, and Christina, I want to address your comment because I think it is timely, I think it is poignant, I think it is necessary. Christina, classy girl, Candy, classy girl, says, victims should be looked into as well. I mean, victors. I do want to talk about that. Where do you think the name came from? You guys know. Stop acting like you don't know what victors is. Stop it. Are y'all ready to have a conversation about what happened to this woman, or do we need to let a little more time pass, maybe let the weekend sink in? I'm going to let y'all figure that out because there's something real specific that happened at Victor's that happened all of the time. Now, Victor's is now closed. They're not open no more. In fact, it sold fairly recently. It had been for sale for a couple of years. I think they were asking originally like 1.7 for it, 1.5, 1.3. And in my mind, that location and the history that it has, I think it should have sold to another operator for that price. Because, I mean, it's victims, right? But we also have to talk about what that place is known for. It's not just happenstance that the place was nicknamed Victims. So I'm going to ask y'all again, do you want to have a conversation about what Victor's was known for, and the scenario that happened with Sade Robinson is not one that is uncommon? Do y'all know that there was surveillance footage of her walking into Victor's by herself at 19 years old now, right? But it's interesting because before we saw that surveillance footage of her going to Victor's as a 19-year-old woman by herself, the family wanted to pursue charges against Dukes on Water and against the Twisted Fisherman for serving 19-year-old Sade Robinson and potentially over-serving her, rather, with her being underage. But they didn't say nothing about her going to Victor's, which means that she had been there before. She'd probably been there before by herself. You guys know what Victor's is known for, correct? Israel, I really hope that you have something to say that is reasonably on topic. I feel like I might have made a mistake.
Why do you think I'm an idiot? Why do I always have to explain myself to you? Why do you always test my face?
Well, that was easy.
Damn.
All right, let's take a break. That's my fault. Don't blame nobody but me, because I'm the one that answered the phone call. Got on your ass. He's one we actually need to be concerned about. I need to stop it. For some reason, when I see that he's calling, I was like, oh, this is going to be golden. But I can't, nah. I don't know if y'all quite understand that Sherwin is in a vulnerable position once I leave here. Like right now, I'm behind bulletproof glass in a very secure building. It's hard to get in this joker. Even we have guests. The maze I have to give them and the map that we have prepared for people to get into this building, to get into our studios, is a lot. But once I leave, woo, I'm on my own.
Hey, cuz I heard you was talking that mess on the radio.
Yeah, that happens.
On the dead homies.
Yeah. Put that on Larry. You know what I mean? They be getting mad at me sometimes. Put that on phone them. I got to take a break. You guys want to talk about victims or not? I'm going to ask you one more time, and I'll take my answers in the YouTube chat. You want to talk about what that place was known for? Now, what it was known for is not the reason why it closed down. The family didn't want to run that damn business for the 60th year because Victor's has been open since the late or mid 1960s. And it used to be an Italian joint where the Italians used to hang out. I'm not saying there's mob ties, but you know what I mean? It was one of their places. The Italians had a bunch of joints in the city of Milwaukee. Victor's back in the day was one of them. And then it turned into this cultural iconic phenomenon that everybody has a Victor's story. Everybody's been to Victor's on New Year's Eve. They were one of the very rare establishments in the city of Milwaukee. So they opened up at noon, New Year's Eve day, and did not close until noon, New Year's Day. They stayed open for 24 hours. I can remember this is when I was younger, going to Victor's at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and having to wait in line to get into that nightclub because they were at capacity at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. It was just that kind of place. And it was known for this one particular thing. Let me be abundantly clear. I am not at all implicating the deceased Sade Robinson, may she rest in peace, in what Victor's is known for, but I think it's worthy of having a discussion because where Victor's no longer exists, there will be another establishment that still provides the same kind of scenarios that was very common and well known at Victor's. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. Go behind the scenes of the Emmy-nominated Giannis documentary. Get the real story of the blockbuster trade for Damian Lillard. Hear the origin of Bucks in 6. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 101.7 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Summer in Milwaukee is non-stop. Festivals, live music, and fresh city vibes fill the season you already know. From world-famous cultural celebrations to hidden gem street fairs, every neighborhood is a stage, alive with handcrafted traditions, homegrown talent, and world-class entertainment. Music, flavor, culture, whenever you visit, the Cream City is ready to celebrate. This summer, don't just visit. Make sure you experience Milwaukee, the city of festivals.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Maxwell Anderson found guilty on everything. The jury deliberated for 10 minutes. I'd imagine when they received all of the details and the jury instructions, it was probably as simple as, y'all ready to get this over with? Y'all, okay, guilty. You? What about you? We was always worried about you, juror number 4. And juror number 4 was probably eating an egg McMuffin. And it was like, yep, guilty. And that was that. Hopefully this renews and reinvigorates people's understanding of justice. I've always felt very conflicted about, so someone who is harmed or murdered, and then the person that did it gets caught, and then they get however many decades in prison. And people are like, oh yeah, justice is served. That's bittersweet, because wouldn't we rather that person have not been victimized in the first place? Like, oh yeah, this is great, they're going to jail. There's nothing great about it. Yeah, okay, they're going to be in jail forever, but the harm that they cause is irreparable. So I've always been really conflicted. And I understand, people want the justice system to work as intended if someone does something horrible, because there's been too many scenarios where someone does something horrible and we know they did it, but because of a technicality or a mistake made in the evidence collection or a really, really slick defense attorney, there are some people that go free when they have, in fact, committed horrible crimes. And because of the double jeopardy rule, you can commit a crime, be found not guilty, do an interview right after and you did the crime. You did. Everybody knew you did it, but the jury not guilty, okay? You can give an interview the moment you walk out of the courtroom and say, yeah, I did it. Absolutely, I did it. Because you cannot be tried twice for the same crime. Now, there can be a civil suit, but criminally, you cannot be charged again. If you were found not guilty, they can't say, hey, let's do it again, all over again, a new defense, new prosecution, and new jurors. They can't do that. That is as illegal as it is unconstitutional. And I think that we are familiar with far too many scenarios where we know somebody did it and they got away with it. O.J. Simpson could be an example, but we're not going to bring up O.J. May he rest in peace too, I guess. For those of you that have lived in Milwaukee for, a little while, and if you are of a certain age, you're familiar with Victor's, that big old nightclub on Van Buren. Used to have a ladies' night, used to have a college night. It was a place in which we knew that underage people would go, but it was also known for something very specific. Black prostitutes were known to hang out at Victor's. Not only were they known to hang out at Victor's, there was a particular place that they sat on the backside of that main bar. That's where they sat. And this is not a secret. Y'all stop pretending that you didn't know that. And if you wanted to pick up a girl, white men in particular, white men from the suburbs that have an affinity or a fascination with black women, you also got to keep in mind, unhappily married white men in sexless relationships that live in New Berlin or live in the Elkhorn or live way somewhere out there. don't have a lot of black women in their neighborhoods and their communities in which they can choose from, but they know they can go to Victor's and they can go to the backside of that bar. But also, look at this in a historic context. The historic pedigree of well-to-do white men taking advantage of black women sexually is as old, is older than the United States is itself. That practice predates 1776. Wealthy, privileged white men having their way with black women. We can just look at Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings, and that was a very common story. So there is a historic pedigree to privileged, wealthy white men having their way with black women. That still has continued. Currently, as of 2022, we don't know what the numbers are because Donald Trump has probably taken away all the funding from the organizations that tracks missing black women. As of 2022, there were almost 100,000 black women that were missing. We don't know where they are. No one has seen them. There's been no evidence of their murders because they're not murder investigations. They are literally just missing. Victor's was a place that was known for black women, and maybe white women too, but it was just black. It was black women specifically. Maybe white women had another bar that they chose. Maybe Victor's was just the territory of these black women. But again, as a man, I'm not judging those women, and let me tell you why. Because my understanding of sex work as a 50-year-old man is probably different than, let's say, a 50-year-old woman's. We as men see oftentimes women being transactional about their bodies. They are. Sometimes it's, hey, pay me $300 and I'll hang out with you. Sometimes it's take me out to eat, get my hair done, get my nails done, give me money for my time, and then maybe if I'm feeling comfortable and you make me laugh and make me feel secure, I'll sleep with you. I see no difference. A lot of women, and whether women want to admit this or not, I'll leave that up to y'all, ladies. But as a man, I have been hit by women who are transactional about their time. And I'm not judging them for that because guess what? If men could charge money to be transactional about our time and our sex, we would. And I would be expensive. I'd be one of the most expensive hoes around.
Men do that.
No, they don't. Men can't charge, it's not nearly as common. I mean, yeah, there might be a couple of scenarios, but for the most part, men are much more likely to pay for the time and attention for women. Women don't pay like that. You ain't going to go and meet a woman and be like, yeah, you want to hang out with my haircut, you got to get my car washed. Women ain't going to go for that because they can charge more and it's much more acceptable. Let's hold that thought and come back for hour two. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, Gruber Law Offices and The Truth have raised the stakes for this year. The One Call That's All Gruber Cash Giveaway is now a $5K giveaway. Yes, you heard it right. $5,000 giveaway. Every weekday on 1017 The Truth, you will have the chance to be entered to win the $5K giveaway. Listen to The Truth for the One Call That's All cue to call for your chance to win $5,000. Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All. Visit 1017thetruth.com for official contest rules.
Truth Nation, unfortunately, violence is on the rise in Milwaukee, and this is a problem which impacts us all. Please join me and the Truth team on Saturday, July 12th from 9 a.m. to noon for our third annual Walk Against Violence supported by 1MKE. Enough is enough. Now it's time to bring an end to senseless violence in our community. To join our Walk Against Violence on Saturday, July 12th, visit truthwalkagainstviolence.com to sign up today.
I've got to share that I am also a beneficiary of the Old National Bank Empowerment Loan Program. So, Tracy, with that being said, what is the Empowerment Loan Program?
Great. Well, the Empowerment Loan Program is a special purpose loan program that we launched 2 years ago. It has been a success. It was something, again, near and dear to the heart of not only our chairman and CEO, but just our organization as a whole. We work with contractors, consulting firms, retail food operations, daycares. In fact, so far, we've approved $50 million of loans to minority and women-owned businesses within a 2-year period.
And for those that are now leaning more into this conversation, what's the best way to get in contact with you as part of their interest in the Empowerment Loan Program?
I'm going to give you my cell phone number to the listeners. It's 414-687-7393. And if that doesn't work, feel free to reach me at my email, tracy.meeks@oldnational.com.
Tracy Meeks, Senior Vice President, Community Lending Market Executive from Old National Bank.
Carrie, where's Tori Lowe and Dr. Ken at? I'm trying to knock these commercials out.
How am I supposed to know, Sherwin?
Well, I'm about to do their parts because my impressions are on point anyway. This is Dr. Ken Harris from Truth in the Afternoon, and I want you to download the Truth app in the Google Play Store and Apple Store so you can never miss my show or any of the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Really, Kyle?
Sherwin, you are crazy.
Sherwin, your impression of me is horrible. Move. Give me my mic. I guess I'll just repeat what Sherwin said. Go to the Google Play Store or Apple Store to download the 1017 The Truth app today so you can take the home of Milwaukee Black Talk with you wherever you are.
Can't listen live? Download the new 1017 The Truth app on your smartphone today to catch up on all your favorite shows. Search 1017 The Truth on your Google Play Store or Apple App Store so you don't miss out on any of the action. All of your favorite 1017 The Truth content whenever you want. The Truth app has it all. The Truth is on 1017 and 1510 WGKB Waukesha, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I'm sure you've all heard by now that Maxwell Anderson was found guilty on all counts. Death, dismemberment of Sade Robinson, arson, and hiding a corpse. His sentencing is probably going to be set for a later date, but let's just go ahead and assume he's never going to get out of jail. The other scenario that we were somewhat alluding to, and people are talking about it here in the YouTube chat, is what a Victor's was known for. And some of you probably went to Victor's innocently and you did not know this. And I think maybe over time, that thing that Victor's was known for may have subsided. But I can name notable men in this city that you all know that would go to Victor's to find black women of the night to sleep with. I am not judging any person for being transactional with their time. I'm not making a moral judgment on them. I'm not making a legal judgment on them. Different people have different scenarios that they are in, different circumstances they got to sort through. I'm not in their shoes. And quite honestly, let me be honest with y'all. It's none of my damn business. In the years that I've been doing this and the people that I've talked to and the people that I've gotten to know, and what else is really interesting is the information that people will disclose to me in hopes that I'll talk about it on the radio. There are people that have wanted to, disclose to me horrible things their ex-wife or their ex-husband has done to them because they want me to expose it on the radio because it might help their divorce case. Men that want me to throw their children's mothers under the bus so the world can know how horrible of a woman she is. And just the proclivities that people are involved in. There are some people that are into some really weird stuff and they're tired of living in the shadows and they'll say, Sherwin, can I come on the radio and talk about my alternative lifestyle? No, you cannot. No, but I'm not going to judge those people. It's just I make a decision on, do I live my life the way they do or do I not? There are some people that are fantastic examples of how you live a good, decent, and moral life. And then there's examples of people that don't live a good, decent, and moral life. And I just tend not to follow those examples. But Victor's was known as a place where African-American women who were selling their bodies to, the highest bidder would hang out. That wasn't a secret. And you just respected it. If you weren't into that, then leave the women alone. They weren't bothering nobody. They weren't overly aggressive. They weren't directly soliciting people. They would sit there and mind their own business. And some of them were just dressed normal, T-shirt and jeans, tennis shoes. But you knew because of where they sat, and it was just known for that. But Victor's was known for a lot of stuff. That is just one of the many things that it was known for. Do you guys find it at all peculiar that Sade Robinson worked occasionally at the Wisconsin club? She was very, very part-time. I think she was only there for like special events and banquets and that kind of stuff, so she wasn't a full-time employee there by any means. And then she also worked at Pizza Shuttle, and she may have worked there full-time. Even if she did, y'all know that's not enough money for a 19-year-old woman to have an apartment on the east side by herself. That you don't make enough money. We know that somebody that works full-time in a service industry job can barely afford an apartment, let alone to be able to live and have a decent life. We know that. She also was found with 47 methamphetamine pills, basically speed, probably Adderall, and then $888 in cash. She was found with that in her apartment. I'm assuming that $888 was not cash that she had from her tax return. Probably money that she got from selling the speed or the Adderall or the methamphetamine pills. Which I'm not judging her for that. Everybody knows somebody that sells drugs. Listen to me. Listen. Everybody knows somebody that sells drugs. Either a person or a goddamn pharmacist. We all know somebody that sells drugs. Case closed, right? She worked at Pizza Shuttle, which even if they pay a lot, it ain't enough. She worked at Wisconsin Club, extremely part-time for special events. That probably didn't pay a whole hell of a lot either. She had some pills, which to me, irrelevant. Doesn't mean she should have been killed. Doesn't mean that she should go without protection for her life. Okay? She found $888 rather in cash. She was seen going to Victor's on a Friday night by herself. They didn't check her ID because they probably knew who she was. And again, I'm not even implicating Victor's. And even if I wanted to implicate Victor's, I can't because they're closed and the building's sold and it's going to be torn down because guess what Victor's is going to be? A parking lot. Because a lot of times when someone is affiliated with an establishment and that person that's affiliated with that establishment loses their life, people always want the building torn down. Like Jeffrey Dahmer's building, they had to tear that down. They tore it down many years ago. And so for those that would want Victor's torn down because that is where she met Maxwell Anderson. Now, we didn't know that in the beginning. We thought that their first date and their initial contact was that Tuesday in which we had the surveillance footage of them at the Twisted Fisherman and then at Duke's on Water. And that also was the night. That was a Tuesday. She disappeared that Tuesday night. We didn't know until very recently that Sade Robinson went to Victor's as a 19-year-old woman by herself on a Friday night. You can see it plain as day on Victor's camera footage. She walks right in with a smile. They didn't stop her. They didn't ask her for no ID, probably because they were familiar with her or familiar with those like her because Victor's is known for something. But again, this is not me implicating her in that thing that Victor's is known for. It's all circumstantial. She walks into Victor's by herself on that Friday night. At the end of the night, she walks out. Not by herself, but with who? With Maxwell Anderson. She met him there. They met that previous Friday. And here's what I think happened. She went to Victor's by herself. So did he. I know what he was looking for. I think I know what he was looking for because Victor's is known to be a place in which you can find a woman to hang out with if you have some money. She goes there by herself that Friday night. The two of them are seen leaving together. Here's what I believe happened. They agreed to have a quote-unquote date that Tuesday. This was a transaction, but here's the thing. I don't know if either he knew that or maybe he thought he made the mistake that many guys make. Oh, she's going to give it to me for free because she actually likes me. A woman who is a sex worker is good at her job if she makes the man think that she legitimately likes him. Does that make sense to y'all? When it's less transactional, when it feels like she's actually the guy's girlfriend and she acts like a girlfriend, because then the guy's like, oh, wow, I don't mind paying her because this feels real and authentic. It's just an acting role, essentially. But if she's a really good actress, the man will think, oh, wow, she actually likes me. Maybe she won't charge me for sex. But this oftentimes is where women who are involved in sex work become the most vulnerable. Because if they're really good at their job and the lonely man or the undersexed man that they're hanging out with legitimately thinks that this woman who is a sex worker actually likes him, he may not want to pay. Now, again, I am not implicating her in any of this. I am just drawing from what we know about Victor's and the fact that she walked in there on a Friday night by herself and she walked out with Maxwell Anderson, because that is where they met. On Tuesday, that is where they agreed to have their date. I don't know if the transaction was discussed. Here's what I think where the truth actually is, and we're never going to get it, nor should we get it, because it's none of our damn business. All the details of their relationship and how they came to hang out on Tuesday is in her cell phone. The text messages between those two spell out the details that we may not have gotten in following the trial. But that to me is irrelevant. Whatever exchanges they had and whatever they agreed to as far as how much money she wanted to hang out with him. But let's also be clear about this. Ladies, you've seen Maxwell Anderson. You ain't hanging out with dude for free. You're not. You're not. Look at his face. And then at least they cleaned him up for court. Remember what his hair looked like when they first showed the pictures of him? Y'all wouldn't hang out with him for free. He got to pay what he weigh. You know what I'm saying? But whatever details of their interaction, their relationship was probably spelled out in her text messages, but it would have been unfair to her as the victim to disclose what was in her phone, because that don't matter. He's the one that committed the damn crime. They agreed to hang out on that Tuesday, and he was like, oh, I'll take you out to eat, because that's what a nice guy does. That also could be a part of the transaction. She may have required him, like, yeah, if we're going to kick it and do whatever we're going to do, you're going to feed me. Let's have a couple of drinks. Let's, like, hang out and get to know each other. Because then it feels a little bit more normal, a little bit more natural. Now, what happens after they leave the second location, which is Duke's? They go to his house at some point. Don't know how much time elapsed from when they left Duke's to when they got to his apartment, but ultimately I have a feeling that that was agreed upon, because also in his phone, there were pictures of her with her pants pulled down. Like he took photographs of her while she was still alive, and those photographs appear to have been consensual, that she knew that he was taking. So this was all a part of what their date was going to be. And again, I am not implicating Sade Robinson in anything nefarious or anything that is immoral, because as a man, I see, if this is sex work, I see it as something different. I see women being transactional with their time and with their bodies, just like I see the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. I don't judge women for that, because there's men that'll pay for it. And those are some of the best relationships sometimes, because you know exactly what to expect from the other person. The man knows exactly what to expect from this woman, and the woman knows exactly what dollar amount she's going to get and how much time she's going to spend. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing, inefficient about that. Now, some people that are clutching their pearls may find that immoral, but most women, if they are smart, put a value on their time. As a man, I put value on my time. A woman can do whatever she wants with her time because it is hers. And keep in mind, time is a shrinking resource. You do whatever you want with your time. If you want to charge somebody or make somebody get your hair done, get your nails done, pay for your babysitter, or pay for dinner, you have the right to do that. And I have nothing to say about that. All I can do is accept it or reject it. It's a normal thing for me to see women wanting to be transactional with their time. And also, I make no difference between a woman saying, hey, Sherwin, I'll hang out with you for $500, versus a woman that says, Sherwin, take me to Moe's, then let's go to Blue, and then next week, let's go to Loopy and Iris. I'm still spending the same $500. I'm just spending it over the course of a pay period as opposed to one night. And quite honestly, it might be a little bit easier to spend the damn money in one night. Let the little money clear out my account, so now I know what my actual bank account balance is, instead of me $200 here, $75 for drinks over here, $125 because we went to a concert at the rave over here. Then just charge me the money. It's here. Cash or Venmo? There was probably some sort of a disagreement. And again, I'm not justifying what this man did. The man's been found guilty on everything. He was found guilty of stuff I ain't even know he was charged for. We did play the the video of the jury reading the verdict, Maxwell Anderson looked confused, or he always looks that way, but Tony Cotton looked visibly upset. I don't know if you guys remember this. Don't get mad at me. This is back before we were here at the 3rd Street Market Hall, back when the Truth was broadcasting over at Radio City on East Capitol. Tony Cotton, I've interviewed him before in studio. And guess what? Y'all loved him because he's a spot-on defense attorney. I don't even remember where I met Tony. I met him years ago. Of my most rich, powerful, and wealthy friends, and I got a few of them in this city, if they ever get in trouble, they're calling Tony Cotton. So I don't blame Maxwell Anderson and his family for wanting to get Tony Cotton. He's the best. So when defense attorneys get in trouble, when an attorney needs an attorney, they go to Tony Cotton. And that's how I've come to know him. Like, he is the man. It's almost like, you know, if somebody is an educator, they're a teacher, trust them to find the best schools and the best teachers, right? So if somebody is a lawyer, lawyers know the best lawyer. If somebody is a doctor, think about this. Don't you want to go to the doctor that doctors go to? Because, you know, doctors have doctors. So if I'm a doctor and I practice medicine, it's interesting that we say somebody they don't work in medicine, they practice medicine, because it's kind of like iffy. Like, oh, if we practice it, we hope it works out for you. But imagine how good of a doctor you have to be if you were the general practitioner for another doctor. Imagine how good of a lawyer you have to be if you are the lawyer preferred by lawyers. Imagine how good your teacher must be, or how good this school is, if this is where teachers want to send their kids to school. Tony Cotton is that. And I interviewed him a couple of years ago, and y'all loved him. But then y'all got mad when you found out that he was representing Maxwell Anderson. And I'll never forget it. When we did that interview, this was years ago. This is before we were even broadcasting on YouTube. Y'all wanted his phone number because you loved the way he sounded and you loved the way that he represented his clients. I don't know what we were talking about specifically. We weren't talking about a specific case, but just him being a defense attorney and maybe some of the cases that he has seen and some of the clients that he had in the past. But it was interesting because when I had him on my show a couple of years ago, oh, y'all loved him. But then you found out he was representing Maxwell Anderson. Y'all went all on social media and went all on his Google review page and talked all sorts of mess about him. It's interesting how the tides will turn. But that's why I was nervous in talking about the Sade Robinson case, because I had interviewed Tony Cotton at least twice on my program before, just because he is the lawyer's lawyer. Said all that to say this. Something happened that night that the two of them were hanging out. Sade Robinson and Maxwell Anderson. Maybe the night proceeded the way he wanted it to, and maybe didn't proceed the way she wanted it to. I think he didn't pay her, or he didn't want to pay her. Because I don't think he was a wealthy guy. I don't think so. Because that happens sometimes. If there's a transaction, and if the woman doesn't get the money up front, then there's a chance that the man at the end of the night may not pay her at all. So they agreed to hang out on a Tuesday. They met at Victor's on Friday, that we know, because she walked in by herself. At the end of the night, she walked out with him. You literally see the two of them together. That's where they met. That was on a Friday. On that next Tuesday, they agreed to go to the Twisted Fisherman to grab a bite, and to Duke's on Water Street to get some cocktails, get them a few little drinks. After that, they proceeded to his house. That was the last known whereabouts where she was seen alive. So something happened. I don't know what happened. There may have been some kind of a disagreement, but for the people that are saying, "Oh no, he's a serial killer," I don't think that is. I think that there is a pedigree of white men wanting to use black women and then discarding them, because there's a historical pedigree of that happening in the United States of America. You can go back to any epoch in American history, even before America was a country, where wealthy white men, slave owners, plantation owners, would repeatedly sleep with and rape their slaves. They dehumanized them, and that pedigree has still continued. I think it is much more likely that Maxwell Anderson is in that pedigree than he's responsible for 200 or 300 missing black women. No, he's not. I think they had a disagreement. He got angry. He freaked out. He killed her. wanted to hide the body because he didn't want to get caught. Got caught on all sorts of different surveillance cameras, wanted to hide additional evidence by burning her car. He got caught on camera doing that as well. I think he panicked. So for the people that said, oh, he planned it out, the crime was too sloppy. It was way too sloppy for it to have been planned out. It would have been he wouldn't have gone to places in public with her during the day. Because here's the thing, if it was transactional, and I'm not saying that it was, she might have legitimately thought dude was cute and actually liked him and wanted to date him. I highly doubt it, but maybe. But if he was going to plan that, and especially if it's transactional, he could just say, hey, I'll give you $500, just come to my house. Because that is how most of those transactions that start at Victor's go. The ladies are sitting at the designated place at the back bar or by that front bar on the backside at Victor's. Guy walks in like, hey, here's $400, $300. Let's go back to my place. That's usually how that goes. And if a man is premeditating a murder, he's not going to be all around the city hanging out with her in public where people will see them and identify the both of them. Not to mention, there's cameras everywhere. So if you're planning, and I'm not trying to tell you how to plan a murder, will y'all please never murder anybody? Can I give that public service announcement? I know I give a disclaimer at the beginning of my show. Let me give another one. Don't murder. Not sure what that sound effects mean, but don't. Just, if you disagree with somebody, don't kill them. Did you really? How did you find it? What year was it from, Zach? Oh, I'm scared. I'm scared to hear it. Should we? I don't want to hear it. I kind of want to hear it. All right, so because I might sound like really nice. And remember, a lot of y'all don't like Tony Cotton because Tony Cotton failed because Maxwell Anderson is going to jail for like 100 years. How in the hell did she? I am kind of curious as to what I said in the interview.
It's kind of.
Are you listening to it, Rick?
You said what?
Can you hear it? The interview?
He's skimming through it right now, but I think that it's totally dumb to pay all that money knowing for a lawyer, knowing that you did the crime, you got caught. Like at this point, just ask for a speedy trial, do a public defender, go out, just save yourself the time and money.
Nah,
Like prolonging it and then taking it to jury trial. You playing with the taxpayers' money. You playing with the judge's time. Like, bro, you did and you got caught. Like, let it go.
Maybe more people should have that attitude, Rick, but it's a whole bunch of criminals that, because people get off for, OJ killed 2 white people in Brentwood, California, and he got, and Maxwell Anderson is white and killed a black woman. If there's a scenario in which you can be acquitted or found not guilty, it's being a blonde white fella too. A blonde white man killing a 19-year-old black woman who was seen going into Victor's by herself. Dude rolled the dice. I know, pray to God, I never find myself in a situation where I need a defense attorney, but whether I did it or not is irrelevant. I want to be free. That's I'm not gonna be all right. Well, I did it. Let me just
I get that, but I'm saying like you can't compare him to OJ though. OJ had a team of lawyers. He had the dream team.
Oh, Tony Cotton, Kukler, and Cotton. They had a team. Tony wasn't the only person representing Maxwell Anderson. In fact, I know Tony's mama. Actually, she's a cold attorney. So if Tony's not available, and here's the thing: Tony Cotton's stock as a defense attorney has not gone down. People were just mad at him because of the insensitivity of the crime, but y'all know how this damn thing works. It don't matter what the hell you're accused of, ladies and gentlemen. Each and every one of you, even the most brutal of us, is afforded the right to have legal representation. You can't get mad at a lawyer for defending somebody because that is what we call due process. Sorry, I gotta take a break. This ain't Israel back on line one night. Who this is? Oh, good God. All right, let's take a break, come back. Something happened where the two of them had a disagreement. I think that's also why blood was not found. Sade Robinson's blood was not found in Maxwell Anderson's apartment because I think that he killed her in a means where no blood was drawn, but he may have taken her somewhere else and dismembered her body. And I know this is a horrible, horrible thing to talk about, but ultimately I want to get to the point where where we're going to have a real conversation about women that may do things that some may find morally objectionable. Those women still need protection as well. They still need to be protected. Just like if somebody's accused of a crime, they still should be afforded to have a defense. I'm not implicating her in sex work, but if she is, I'm not judging her for that, because to me, sex work is something that should be looked at differently, because it's gonna happen, y'all. You can't stop that from happening, from a woman saying, I'm gonna charge for my time. That's called capitalism. All right, let's take a break, come back and have some conversations. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 1017 The Truth's Kyle Wallace, and the time is now, Milwaukee. Truth to Power is your platform, and on my show, our community always has a voice. There is no topic that is off limits, and I always give you my authentic opinions on how I feel, because keeping it real is the only way I know how to get down. Listen to Truth to Power with me, Kyle Wallace, every day from noon to 1 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on YouTube at 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
At Hope Christian Schools, they're transforming lives through the power of Christ-centered education. Their nurturing environment combines academic excellence with strong Christian values. They offer free transportation and free tuition options to help set children up for success. Through faith, dedication, and unconditional love, they empower their scholars to discover their God-given potential and pursue their greater purpose. Don't wait. Start your child's journey at hopeschools.org.
Life's better with American Family Insurance, because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee has been living the high life since 1904. Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Miller High Life and Beer Capital Distributing are proud to sponsor the Milwaukee Juneteenth celebration. 2025 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Celebrate responsibly.
Bikers need protection, not just from other drivers, but unfortunately from insurance companies too. We've been fighting for injured bikers and their families for more than 30 years. Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
D. Donald said they never heard of Victor's before. You must not be from Milwaukee. There's a lot of iconic places in the city of Milwaukee that are known for a bunch of different things. Like, there's places you can go in this city, and because we're upward Midwestern and we have like these puritanical, quote unquote puritanical values, there's a place that might be known for nasty, naughty raunchiness, but it'll promote itself as like a family establishment, but everybody knows what that establishment is really about. And Victor's was just one of those places. It had been around for so long, and it had operated to be a place for so many different people. I would argue that between McBob's on 49th and North and Victor's when it was open, these are the two most diverse places in the city of Milwaukee where black people and white people and Latino people and Asian people and Indian people got along. I've never seen a fight at McBob's. If anything, the only disagreements I've ever seen at McBob's is who has better corned beef, McBob's or Jake's? Easily McBob's. McBob's, the only thing that I didn't like about McBob's is you couldn't get French fries on certain days. Why? I don't understand that. Like some days you could only get chips. They didn't have French fries. Or they didn't have them potatoes, them home fry. I love me a good home fry now. You understand me? Don't threaten me with a good home fry. All right, let's talk to Alan. You're on 101.7 The Truth.
Hey, Sherwin. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Hey, we go to McBob's for their fish fry. The fish that's over there by on North Avenue. Is that it? Is that on North Avenue?
49th.
That's the one. Yup. By the
police station.
There's a police station over there.
I know you know where the police
sometimes
station.
Ty got to go over there. Yeah, because my wife works. Yeah, what she does. But anyway,
she
don't work there. But
she work at a
during
police
elections,
station.
Yeah, she works for the city.
Working for the city is one thing. Working for the police is another. So she works for the police?
It gives you a pension, man. It's a good place to work.
I didn't know she was them
Hang on,
people.
let me turn my radio down.
Yeah, turn the radio. I didn't know your wife was them people. This man married to the police.
Yeah, she's good. She's a good person.
All right.
I'm listening to your topic today, man. I got to say, it's pretty brave. You're pushing the envelope. I'm really one of the biggest things that I've always been about. I used to teach a class called Law, Power, and the Constitution. What you're touching on is a lot of people don't quite understand that. Everybody's entitled to a defense, and you're really, I think you're really igniting some fires, man. I haven't listened to the whole thing because I've been on and off, in and out of the house dealing with some stuff. But I want to tell you, man. I don't always agree with you. You know that. That's what makes life grand.
I hung up on you yesterday.
But today you're spot on. No, man, you are spot on. You're not hearing this on nowhere else. That's why I listen to you guys. All the other stuff, they're not getting to the bottom of it. And as soon as that happened, I told Ty when we started, when you hear about that, I said, I'll bet you. And, nobody deserves bad things to happen. But that man, I don't think he planned it out. I think it was just something. And then, like you said, but it takes a brave person to be saying that up here on the air. Fantastic radio.
Thank you, Alan. I'm going to take that compliment, and we're going to part ways now because that was a good phone call.
Yeah, we are. We're going to go over. Maybe I'll see you at McBob's one time, and if we do stop by, I'll buy you a drink.
Oh, thank you very much.
I didn't think you won't see us. We stick out. Even in an eclectic atmosphere, we still stick out.
I know.
What are you going to do, man? It's across the bear, ain't it?
It is. Thank you, Alan. Have a good weekend.
It is, my friend. Have a great, you too. Bye-bye.
Okay, then now. Jeez. I saw him and his wife at the packing house. This was years and years ago. And I had to hide because I just wasn't in the mood. You know what I mean? I was tucked away. I got a little table that I sit at when I go to the packing house. And I looked up, and I'm not lying to you. So on the bar side of the packing house, there's two sides to the restaurant. There's the restaurant side, the dining room area, and then there's the bar side. The bar takes up most of the square footage of the bar area, and then you have tables that are along the wall. So between the tables that are along the wall and the bar, there's only a pathway, like a narrow pathway between those tables on the wall and the bar. Alan is dancing in that little narrow pathway, because that's the pathway if you want to get to the restrooms, or that's the pathway if you want to walk and find a seat at the bar. He's just taking up the whole and just doing like an Irish jig. He's doing this thing where he's like clicking his feet and he's hitting his heels and I looked and I saw his wife and I was like, oh snap, that's Alan and Ty. And I did something where I put like a napkin over my face because he just would have talked my ear off. And it's one thing if he calls the radio show. It's another thing if he's full of that brandy and I see him in person. So you know what I mean? I just had to, I hid. All right, why don't we do this? Take a break, come back, talk to Lisa on the other side. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back shortly.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Get that jumpstart to a fulfilling career at Carroll University through majors such as video game design, music therapy, pre-law, and over 90 additional majors. Carroll University is Wisconsin's oldest university. Founded in 1846, Carroll offers students small class sizes, personalized attention, and a generous financial aid package while they receive a cutting-edge education. Learn more at carrollu.edu. That's carrollu.edu.
Saving energy and money is easier than you think. Here are 2 simple things you can do to reduce your energy use and lower your energy bill. Use thermal curtains to reduce each room's energy loss by up to 25%, and make sure vents aren't blocked by furniture or rugs to improve airflow and comfort. Simple, smart savings. Get more energy-saving tips at weenergies.com. Today's Making Your Money Work is presented by Associated Bank, and now I am excited to be joined by Tamara Castle. So let's get this thing right started. We are talking about buying a home for first-time home buyers. Why do you think a credit score is important, and what score do I need to be approved for a loan?
Well, of course, we all know that credit score is important. It's really measuring your ability to borrow. So with Associated Bank, we need at least a 620 middle score. And what we do is help customers build up that credit. With me having a background as a counselor, I'm able to tell you, looking at your credit report, what little steps you will need to take to get it up to that 620. Because again, like you said, not everybody is ready to purchase with their score, but once you get some guidelines, some tips to bring that score up, we'll get you ready for the 620 and get you rolling.
I love that. So you help people actually even get it up to where it needs to be so they can buy a home.
Yes, and that makes the kind of difference between me and other loan officers is because I used to be a home buying counselor, so I can give tips while I'm actually doing the application.
What would you say are some benefits of getting a home loan with Associated Bank?
Well, number one is customer service. We strive on that, making sure that we have open communication, and again, using a CRA loan officer that's going to break down what you need versus the loan officer that just says, I can't help you. Click. We are actually going to sit with you, and whether it takes 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years, we'll still be here to help you with that mortgage loan.
Well, I already know people are ready right now just from hearing this. So how can they contact someone at Associated Bank about getting started?
They can always go to associatebank.com. Obviously, you'll look up Tamara Castle and reach out. The best way is phone 262-888-3135. We take the applications over the phone, face-to-face, or online.
I love it. Thank you so much, Tamara, for joining me here today.
Making your money work on the award-winning 1017 The Truth is sponsored by Associated Bank. Your money works here. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Reading some of the commentary in the YouTube chat, someone said that Maxwell Anderson shouldn't even get the chance to appeal. So first of all, yes, he should. Will he appeal? Probably not. It'd be stupid. If a jury deliberates for 10 minutes and finds you guilty on everything, that means there was no question about any of the evidence or how it was presented. And here's the thing. Maxwell Anderson had the best defense attorney he could have gotten, unless you find like some international superstar. But like locally, regionally, he got the best defense he probably could have gotten. And that jury deliberated for 10 minutes. So should he appeal? Not in his best interest. It might give him a glimmer of hope, but he's going to jail for the rest of his life. But we have to be real careful with this, because in these days and times where due process is a luxury in this Trump 2.0 world, if y'all don't like a crime that was committed or the person that committed the crime and you say, well, they shouldn't be allowed to appeal. Okay, fair enough. That's your thought on that moment, on that person, on that crime, on that trial. But you might get accused of a crime. And then if you were the one that said, oh, so-and-so shouldn't be able to appeal, if you don't want someone else to have appeal rights, you will lose your appeal rights too. And that's what I want people to be mindful of. We may hate the person, we may hate the crime, hate everything about it, but the rights that we have need to be fixed, because any of us can be accused of anything, stuff that we didn't do. and you can be found guilty of something that you didn't do. This is why I'm afraid of AI. AI can implicate us in a whole bunch of stuff. It might even be able to duplicate our DNA at a scene we've never been to before. And if you were found guilty, think about this now. If you were found guilty on a crime you didn't commit and someone says, I hate that person, and you didn't commit the crime, you're totally innocent, and they say, well, you shouldn't get the right to appeal. Think about how unfair that is. Appeals, in my opinion, the appellate court provides more justice in a lot of cases to African Americans than circuit courts or federal district courts. Let me tell you why. Because there were a lot of African Americans who were incarcerated forever before DNA evidence. Now we have the science to look at DNA evidence. Do you know how many of those cases have been reopened back when somebody, a black man usually, was convicted of a crime that they absolutely didn't do? And then they go back and they test the DNA evidence and that black man is now free. Now he just lost 35 years of his life, but he got freed on appeal. Sometimes there's additional information that comes out. Sometimes there is evidence that was not available at the time of the trial that becomes available later. That evidence is what can exonerate somebody. So the appeal, to me, has a way of serving justice in a way that the original court ruling and jury could not. Let's talk to Lisa. You're on 101.7 The Truth.
Good morning, Sherwin. How are you?
Doing all right. How you doing?
I'm doing good, and I love McBob's. McBob's is from Jake's. I don't know what happened to them. Oh, but geez, they're horrible. When we was kids, we used to go to Jake's. My father loved Jake's. But anywho, well, in 10 minutes you knew he was guilty. Anytime a jury come back that long, they're sure that the person's guilty. If they've been in there for days, whatever, they're fighting and they're trying to figure out who, But anyway. No matter how good your attorney is, it's the jury that matters. Now, that jury, do you know that one of them was dozing off? When that jury was dozing off, I said, oh, he's guilty. When your jury starts falling asleep on you, that means they're guilty. That means
how did you know somebody was falling asleep?
They said that on the news that a jury was falling, dozing off.
Oh.
Yeah. So when that happens, that means, evidently he didn't pick good jurors, but I bet he mad at that. But your jury is everything. Your jury is everything because you got to convince them that your client he might not be innocent, but you could poke holes in the defense, what they're going off of, what evidence they have, and they had a whole lot of evidence. Oh, but geez, but I never heard of Victors or whatever it's called.
How long have you lived in Milwaukee?
I was born and raised here. But I moved to Minnesota for, 25, 26 years.
When did you move to Minnesota? So you ain't really from here. What years did you? Yeah, if you ain't never heard of Victors, then you ain't really from Milwaukee.
Yes, I am, Sherwin.
You were born here, but if you lived your adult years somewhere else,
I'm just not in the life that you are in. I'm not in the clubbing life, the bar life. There's people that doesn't do that.
Lisa, I know that. I'm just saying it's ubiquitous like McDonald's. You ever heard of beer? You've heard of beer. That don't mean you drink it.
And I'm not interested in it. I hear you guys have beer fest, but when I hear about it, I don't know. We ain't got to make everything an argument,
Lisa. You're born here. You didn't live here for. Why is everybody on one today? Relax.
But Sherwin, look, Sherwin, I was born and raised here. I moved away in, I think, 95, 96. And I moved back. Well, I didn't move. I went out on the road and went on my business. So I moved back in 2017. Okay, so you're saying, you were the Sherwin, there's a lot of things I don't know about Milwaukee. A lot of things have grown. A lot of places have been put here.
And I'm not holding that against you, but Lisa, you were gone for a gigantic chunk of Milwaukee's growth and development in 2 different centuries. So there's a lot you just may not be versed on. And I was just shocked you hadn't heard of Victors. I'm not making it seem like it's a bad thing, but I'm just shocked that you haven't heard of a place that is very notorious. But, you're not into stuff, apparently.
And what I can say about our young ladies today, I commend them because they're not, they're all about themselves. They're all about, getting their education and growing and taking care of themselves. Now, you young ladies, if you're going to be a lady, look, I have a niece that's was a dominatrix. She does that. And, but she does it online and she has her clients, but she's very careful. They have no idea who she is. No idea.
Hang on a second, Lisa.
But
Wait. You have a niece that's an online dominatrix, huh?
Yeah. When COVID came about, they had to do a lot of things online.
So she moved her dominatrix dungeon to one with a website.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
And, she got her clients. She walked a white man. White men are freaky.
Because that's sex work too. Now, can we agree on that? We may not agree on Victor's, but yes, being a dominatrix. Yes, the hell it is sex work, Lisa.
Hold on. There's dominatrix that don't have sex, and there's some that do. Yeah.
Lisa, sex work does not always involve intercourse. Sometimes it's fetish, sometimes it's fantasy. Right. That's the thing we got to clear up. Being a dominatrix and dominating somebody, and if they get off on it, that 100% is sex work. And I believe that your niece should be protected in doing that work.
Oh, she is. She's very protected.
Very freaky.
I just tell her, make sure, but, she don't have sex. She don't, she just.
Well, you don't know that now. You don't know that.
No, I do know that because I know it. Because one thing she's going to do is she's her son.
Lisa,
she's going to protect her son.
Women do not disclose their sexual proclivities to anybody except the person they're involved with. It's hard to believe.
Let me say something.
Imagine this, Lisa. I bet you haven't told everybody the people you had sex with.
Yes, I have.
What? Why are you telling your business like that? So every person that you've had sex with, you've told somebody else about the sex you've had with another man.
Yeah. And they
kissing and telling.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Lisa, I got to take a break because I don't know where this conversation is going to go, and I got to play some commercials.
Okay.
Hey, what's your niece's website? What's her name? Mistress Tina?
No.
What is it? You better know.
Chava something.
Y'all in the producer studio want to try and find Lisa's niece's dominatrix website? I bet it's freaky. Whips and chains and candle wax on the nipples.
There, but,
Can you spell it?
I know all that.
Spell it.
I know Chava. Chava Rain, I think.
Ooh, that sounds about right. All right.
CHAVAREIGN or something like that.
Look, they hard. Look at Zach. Zach is searching his ass off right now. Zach finna book an appointment. Zach finna get freaky. I gotta go, Lisa. Zach finna get freaked. She might be running a special. 2 candle nipples for the price of one. Two paddle whippings for $1.
You like that?
Bring a friend and they can spend 10. A little freak. Chava.
Yeah.
Trying to pretend like she didn't know the name of the website. I don't know, Sherwin. It's Chava Rain, CHAVAREIGN.
Playing all innocent.
Unbelievable. Okay, I got to take a break. We have like people from BMO Bank coming in to talk about home ownership at 11 o'clock, so we need to get all this naughty conversation cleared up so we can talk about June being home ownership month, and then we'll get back into sex work and how women who do sex work need to be protected. And sex work is not always intercourse. Sex work is appealing to someone's sexual interests and their desires and their fetishes. And people just listen. I think if somebody has a fetish, they need to be able to explore that fetish in a safe and protected environment and in a private environment. Because if that keeps somebody's mental health on par and they become a better person, a better employee, a better father, because they get to do their freaky stuff. They get to get freaky with the candle wax and the nipples. Some people have 3 nipples. I don't judge you. You're 3 times as fun if you ask me. Don't judge nobody for that. Stop judging people. Let people live their lives. As long as they ain't hurting nobody, as long as they're not hurting you or not causing any harm, let somebody get paddled. Ain't nothing wrong with getting paddled. Some of y'all like a little spanking. I bet Rick likes it. Exactly. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, the Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth
Truth Nation. Unfortunately, violence is on the rise in Milwaukee, and this is a problem which impacts us all. Please join me and the Truth team on Saturday, July 12th from 9 a.m. to noon for our third annual Walk Against Violence, supported by 1MKE. Enough is enough. Now it's time to bring an end to senseless violence in our community. To join our Walk Against Violence on Saturday, July 12th, visit truthwalkagainstviolence.com to sign up today.
Why did Old National Bank decide to create this program?
You know, it was something that was near and dear to the heart of our chairman and CEO, Jim Bryant. Jim wanted us to do more in the African American communities, more with minority-owned businesses. So he approached Roland Shelton, who was my boss in Evansville, Indiana, and said, Roland, we need to do more. We need to create a program that's going to allow individuals, minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses to access capital a lot better than traditionally we've been doing. And so we created the Empowerment Loan Program 2 years ago.
And for those that are now leaning more into this conversation, what's the best way to get in contact with you as part of their interest in the Empowerment Loan Program?
I'm going to give you my cell phone number to the listeners. It's 414-687-7393. And if that doesn't work, feel free to reach me at my email, tracy.meeks@oldnational.com.
Tracy Meeks, Senior Vice President, Community Lending Market Executive from Old National Bank.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Summer in Milwaukee is nonstop. Festivals, live music, and fresh city vibes fill the season you already know. From world-famous cultural celebrations to hidden gem street fairs, every neighborhood is a stage, alive with handcrafted traditions, homegrown talent, and world-class entertainment. Music, flavor, culture, whenever you visit, the Cream City is ready to celebrate. This summer, don't just visit. Make sure you experience Milwaukee, the city of festivals.
Milwaukee has been living the high life since 1904. Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Miller High Life and Beer Capital Distributing are proud to sponsor the Milwaukee Juneteenth celebration. 2025 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Celebrate responsibly.
Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all.
One call, that's all.
One call, that's all. One call, that's all.
One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Somebody found it. Dawn found the Twitter page of Chava Rain, which is Lisa's niece that's a dominatrix. What do you think will happen? Will it be blocked on his computer? Because I don't want to get in trouble. Now, you think it'll be blocked? Well, then okay. Well, then if it's blocked, then I'm not committing any offenses. If it's not blocked, then Good Karma Brands, that's your fault. So thank you, Dawn, for finding. All right, I copied the link, and I'm going to open up a browser and hit paste and hit enter. Yeah, it's not blocked. Mistress Chava Rain from Texas. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It says financial dominatrix. Initial tribute, $50. Empire growing. Unblock fees, $150. So wait a minute. So she'll block you, and to get unblocked, you got to pay $150? Oh, I think we might have something here at 1017 The Truth. If you have been blocked by 1017 The Truth, pay us $150 and we'll unblock. No! Pay us $275 and we'll consider unblocking you. DM only on loyal fans. Joined February 21st. Oh, my. She's really attractive. Oh my God, she's walking a dude. He's wearing a dog mask and a collar. And she's in public walking a man who's got a dog mask on and a chain collar around her. Are you seeing this? Are y'all seeing this? Go to her Twitter. x.com/ChavaRain. She's really, what is this one?
Do that thing stick out, though?
Now there's a video of a guy getting down on her knees, getting down on his knees, rather, and giving her 100, 200. He's handing her 300, 400. Oh, that's that financial domination stuff where the woman demands money. He's on his knees, and he just gave her $1,000 in cash. And the only thing you can see, now he's kissing her feet. This is Lisa's niece. First of all, you guys need to understand the people from BMO Bank are coming in here at 11 o'clock to talk about home ownership. So when they get here, I need y'all to be on your best behavior. She's really, really attractive. Are you seeing this, Zach? And can you see the videos?
Yeah, she bad.
Yeah, she sure in the world is.
And that thing look like it sticks out.
Boing, boing, boing.
This is wild to me. But guess what? This is sex work, and it's legitimate, and I think that she needs to be able to do this and be respected and also be protected. Sex work does not always involve intercourse. It's the whole gamut of all of the things that can be fetishized. I'm fascinated by this. And there's nothing that is sexually inappropriate.
Yeah.
That thing is thangin'.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that is sexually inappropriate about what she posts on her Twitter. All hail Chava Rain. Oh my gosh, she lists her bills. She has a menu. It's called an upkeep menu. It says it's 3 pictures of her wearing various forms of dress. And at the bottom, it says, all hail Chava Rain. And it's got an upkeep menu. Her rent, $1,600. Her utilities, $200. Her phone services are $100. And then she has another category called My Favorites. Shopping, $1,000. Dom gear, $400 a month. $420, which is her marijuana. $240 every 2 weeks. Her manicures, her pedicures are $120 every 2 weeks. So if men want to participate in financial domination, this is what it costs to provide her these services. And then she has another category called extras. Sweet mother of Jesus. Car down payment, $5,000. Dungeon rental, $150 a week. Well, that's cheap.
Dungeon rental?
And then outings are $200 weekly. And then there's a picture of, it looks like a Mercedes vehicle with a big red bow on it. So, wow, we learned a lot about Lisa today. Coming up for hour 3, we're going to be talking to Pam and Jessica from BMO Bank about June being home ownership month. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on June 17th.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Chicago Cubs.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tune in June 17th at 7:05 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check out your local listings to watch the game.
Truth Nation, let us talk our ish for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like Grammy Award winner John Legend.
Knowing that fight isn't over, knowing that we've got to stay motivated and stay inspired. Glory was a song that myself and Common wrote. 2 brothers from the Midwest, from Chicago and from Springfield, Ohio.
Oscar Award winning actor Don Cheadle.
I know that we're the bright, shiny thing that sometimes gets the attention, but I would say don't listen to celebrities. You don't have to listen to us. Listen to yourself.
And President Donald Trump's son, Don Jr.
When did we have a strong economy? And I don't think anyone with a straight face can say right now. And the reality, when you look at it,
it's not even voting for my father. Look at the team that's now surrounding him.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us. But, try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
Listen to the home of the 5K Gruber Cash Giveaway. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but June is, in fact, Home Ownership Month, and I've got two very esteemed individuals in studio with me. Jessica Noth from BMO is back in studio. Jessica, welcome back. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing well.
And Pam Golston is here as well. And apparently, Pam, I know everybody that you know and know everybody in your family. So welcome to you as well to 1017 The Truth. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good. And I'm doing much better now that I know that June is Home Ownership Month, and what a wonderful month that is. Can you guys tell me about, Jessica, I'm going to start with you. When it comes to down payments, and I think that may scare a lot of potential first-time home buyers because they hear about this huge dollar amount that they have to come up with in order to satisfy the down payment for their dream home or their first home. Can you talk about what BMO can offer in terms of down payment assistance that can maybe ease that burden a little bit?
Yes, thanks, Sherwin. I definitely agree. A lot of people are afraid of that down payment. People are paying huge amounts for rent, and so clearly they would be able to make their own mortgage payment, but while we're paying those large rent amounts, it's hard to save up a down payment. But a lot of times a customer can come with, sometimes honestly, as little as $0 to close. Typically, we see more around the $1,500 range. So BMO has several grants of their own, and then we also have partner entities with other down payment assistance grants, and we can layer these programs together to get up to $30,000 or more of down payment assistance. So some are based on income, some have higher income limits, some are based on area, but we try to layer as many programs together as we can so that somebody can get a large down payment for them. And then also there are lower down payment requirements for a lot of our affordable mortgage products.
So different people in different circumstances may qualify for different dollar amounts, but they won't know what they qualify for until they actually begin the process.
Right. They would need to begin the process, and they can have an initial conversation with somebody like me or one of our bankers or a mortgage banker, and just through talking a little bit about their credit score and what their income is, how many people in their family, we can get an idea of the type of down payment assistance they would likely qualify for even before we give them a pre-approval. And then once they actually pick the house, then it will become more clear of all the different down payment assistance programs they could qualify for.
Let me get this cleared up because I know someone is going to ask about an income property. This probably pertains to these down payment assistances, probably first-time home buyers for owner-occupants.
So it actually, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer for all of the programs, which is really exciting. BMO has 2 down payment assistance programs that come right out of our pocket. We have our Welcome Home Grant for $3,000, and then we have our Community Grant for $13,000. Both of those can be a second-time home buyer. But yes, you are correct. They do need to be an owner-occupied property for the majority of grants that we have to offer and that our colleagues at Housing Resources have to offer.
Pam, can you tell us about some additional down payment assistance available with Housing Resources, Inc.?
Yes, Housing Resources have, as of today, we have what is called the Milwaukee Home Grant. And the Milwaukee Home Grant is you have to live in the city of Milwaukee and you have to be purchasing in Milwaukee. We also have Hickory Grant, and our Hickory Grant covers Milwaukee County. So that grant is a little bit different. That requires a home inspection where there can't be any safety and hazard conditions. So the Milwaukee Home Grant is anywhere from $5,000 or $7,000, depends on what area that you're purchasing in, and the Hickory Grant is up to $8,000. So we do partner that grant with some of the down payment assistance that BMO has as well. So you can combine both.
To be a homeowner and a successful one at that, you need a team of people around you. And if someone has been renting for their entire life, they may not know the ins and outs and the details of owning a home. Can you talk about the importance of home buyer education?
Well, education is very important because renting is easy. You know, you can move in, decide when your lease is up, you can move. Homeownership is a little different. It's not just basically moving in and getting keys, okay? So our homeownership workshop basically goes over the homeownership journey to get you from A to B. That's why we partner up with lenders like BMO. We partner up with realtors that know about the down payment and the products that our lenders offer. We also partner up with home inspectors to make sure there's no safety and hazard conditions. Because again, you don't want to be moving in and then in the next 6 months to a year, you put a new roof on, So we have home inspectors come in and talk about why it's important to get a home inspection. And then we also partner with insurance agents to make sure that you insured, because you don't want to get the keys in your hand, walk out the door, and your home is on fire. We want to make sure you
That would make for a bad weekend.
Right,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to make sure you cover, but not only for home ownership for your home, but we also talk about life insurance. We have our insurance talked about the importance of life insurance, because what happens if you lose a partner? And then you want to make sure you stay in that home to provide for you and your family. So homeownership, the workshops go into just the whole journey of homeownership, because we want you to be a successful homeowner. We just don't want to get you in there. We want you to stay in there and grow.
Absolutely. Sometimes, Jessica, when I'm bored, I'll get on one of these websites, maybe Redfin or Shore West, and I'll browse for $1 million homes in Milwaukee, especially with a view of the lake and condominiums. I am not pre-approved for a dollar amount that will put me in a multi-million-dollar home. Can you tell us about the importance of the pre-approval process before people start shopping and fantasizing for dream homes?
Yes, the pre-approval process is really important, and there's especially two main reasons. One, you want to know actually what a bank is going to give you, because like you said, Sherwin, all of us would like to look at those multi-million-dollar condos that are taking a view of the lake and maybe have our high hopes, but we want to know, what is our monthly payment going to look like, and how much will the bank actually give me to buy a home? Because then we can set our sights right and know what to look for. Additionally, the really good real estate professionals, they don't want to see you until you have a pre-approval, or they'll help make sure you get a pre-approval, because they're not going to take you shopping for a home until you have that. Because let's say you don't have a pre-approval and Sally Smith over here has a pre-approval, and you guys put everything else is pretty equal, and you guys both put the same offer on a house, they're going to go with Sally because she has a pre-approval. They already know the bank is going to give her that money, and they're not sure about you. So you want to be offer ready when you go shopping for a home. So that pre-approval is really important before you go purchasing a home.
What's involved in that? So it's probably a mix of your debt to income and your credit score. So when someone is looking to get a pre-approval, what all do they have to provide?
So one thing you actually can get is you can get a pre-qualification letter. That is not as strong. We definitely recommend a pre-approval. But let's say you did it backwards and you went shopping for a house and now you really need something. You could get a pre-qualification letter based on a conversation with the mortgage banker to get you going, and then they'll put in the process for the pre-approval. So with the pre-approval, they're going to ask for several different documents. They're going to need to see your W-2s, how much you earn. They're going to look at your debt to income. What debts do you have out there? What are all your different sources of income? What is your credit score? They'll pull your credit so that they can look at all that together to see what could this person afford to pay back a bank in this pre-approval process. They will pull your credit, but it is really important, and then you will be able to make that offer.
Someone may start the process of getting their pre-approval. They get pre-approved, let's say, to $250,000, and now they're shopping for homes at that price or lower. But the inventory may not be what they want it to be, and they can't find anything. How good or for how long is that pre-approval good for? Because they may not find a home in 3 months, 4 months, or 5 months. Will they have to get another pre-approval in 6 months, that next year? How long are they good for?
So typically pre-approvals last 3 to 4 months. Ours last 120 days. And then you would have to renew that pre-approval once that time is up. And people end up doing that all the time. And also one thing I want to say, if you go for a pre-approval and you get, let's say you get a denial, find out from that mortgage banker, a denial is not no, you can never buy a home. That's just, it's not working right now. Maybe you got to work on your credit score. Maybe you got to work on some of your debts. But that's what BMO financial coaches and bankers and HRI financial coaches can help you with. Let's get to that point where I can get that pre-approval. But yeah, you would need to renew that pre-approval if you can't find a house in 3 to 4 months.
Something else that shouldn't be overlooked is having a good real estate professional to work with, because they can make the process a lot easier for a first-time home buyer. Can you give us some details on how important it is to have a good person working with you on your side and looking for a home?
So you want a buyer's realtor to advocate for you. When you go put in an offer on a home, that seller's realtor that's backing the seller, they're going to advocate for the seller, not for you. If you have somebody that's been a real estate professional for 5 to 10 years, who's going to be better at negotiating that price with the seller's realtor? You or this person with experience? They're going to be looking out for you. They're going to try to get the best deal. They're also the fastest at getting you into homes. Their systems and how fast they can look for homes is a big benefit to you in just making appointments, getting the keys, all of that. They do that for you, advocate for you, so that's really important. And I know HRI has several trusted real estate professionals that they work with.
If people want more information about all of these things, they're in luck, Pam, because tomorrow, Saturday, June 7th, there's going to be a home ownership fair sponsored by Housing Resources, Inc. Can you tell us the details about that?
Absolutely. Saturday, June 7th, the homeownership fair will be at Greater New Birth, and that address, and Jessica, you can give the address.
8237 West Silver Spring Drive.
Everybody knows where Greater New Birth is. Anyway.
Absolutely. But the homeownership fair is really a journey for your homeownership. We partner up with we're going to have a lot of lenders, home inspectors, real estate agents, insurance agent, anybody that you need to talk to regarding homeownership. BMO is one of our top sponsors at the homeownership fair. They will also be hosting a workshop that give you more introduction to home ownership. So we're going to have live music, we're going to have food, we're going to have games for your kids. But the main thing is we're trying to get people to come out and be interested in home ownership. It's going to be a great time.
Tomorrow, Saturday, June 7th, from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at Greater New Birth Church, 8237 West Silver Spring Drive. Come learn about down payment and closing cost grants up to $10,000 or more, $20,000 forgivable loans to renovate city-owned homes, affordable loan products, home inspection services, and much, much more. Saturday, June 7th, with a home ownership fair. Join us and get the information that you need to navigate the home buying process and get started on your path to becoming a homeowner. Come and talk to experts and find out about resources that can make that purchase possible. So tomorrow from 10 a.m. until 2, there's food, stuff for the kids, all the information you could shake a stick at.
Prizes.
Prizes.
Gotta have prizes.
And we're giving away a television, so make sure you come out and you can win. I believe it's a 55 or 65-inch television, so make sure you come out and win that. You also get to meet HRI team. You know, you get to meet all of our counselors, you get to meet our staff, so it's going to be a fun time.
Free refreshments and a reusable tote bag, face painting. I might get my face painted, and a chance to win door prizes. Pam, Jessica, thank you both for being here. The information was very valuable.
Thank you, Sherwin, so much.
Thank you.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. Go behind the scenes of the Emmy-nominated Giannis documentary. Get the real story of the blockbuster trade for Damian Lillard. Hear the origin of Bucks in 6. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
I'm very familiar with Gruber Law offices because they're always out in the community.
Gruber Law offices are known to be honest, hardworking.
They're always involved in our neighborhoods.
Gruber Law offices make our community a better place.
They are the best.
For nearly 40 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped people throughout Wisconsin. If you're injured, we're here to help. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin would not be the same without Gruber Law offices.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's 1017 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When it's time to upgrade your windows and doors, wouldn't you like to work with the best? But maybe you're thinking in these volatile times, I don't want to spend a fortune. Well, Pella, the best in the industry, has a product line for every budget, and right now you can get no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. And if the plan is to wait, guess what? You can get it now and wait to start making payments up to 2 years. Pella truly believes that quality windows and doors don't have to be expensive. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the U.S., you can get the look you want at a price you can afford. And with Pella's free in-home consultation, no obligation quote, and range of available financing, getting new windows and doors from Pella is easier than you think. Certain restrictions apply. Ends June 30th of 2025. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Sherwin on the mic, better tune in now. Milwaukee Flame, he be holding it down. Best in the biz, put respect on the name. Whole nation know he ahead of the game. Sherwin on the mic, better tune in now. Milwaukee Flame, he be holding it down. Best in the biz, put respect on the name. Whole nation know he ahead of the game.
Turn the dial up, it's that power in the voice. Sherwin speak truth, he ain't never had a choice. Milwaukee on the map, he connecting all the noise. Talk real, walk real, never playing with the toys. Facts load heavy when he step to the plate. Every segment cut deep, he be raising the stakes. While they mumble in the dark, he be sparking debates. Big brain, big heart, got that leader's grace. He the voice of the city and the soul of the street. Truth ride, the baseline, wisdom in the beat. Ain't no filter when the mission is clear. Sherwin Hughes, they respect or they fear.
Welcome back to the program. See, I knew that my song would grow on y'all. They in the producer studio dancing and waving their hands back and forth and back.
People don't know that we really be like, we are like hype, man. We be getting you to dance and all that stuff.
Yeah, but then sometimes I want to strangle you both, though, too.
Yeah, we love you and hate you, too.
You know what I'm saying? It's like...
balance.
Like, people don't get it, man. Dame Elsie was in here this week, and he was doing a segment, or doing a show with Kyle, and he was like, oh, man, it's rough sometimes, and, when I was doing the morning show for a little while, I'm like, dude, it's you and 2 other people. Other than me and Tori, we're the only ones with 3-hour shows where it's just us. Now, every now and again, I may rely on Rick with varying results. But, I don't need a whole nother person to do my show. And some people do. And I'm not, no shade on those people, because like, y'all, this ain't easy. It depends on, like, some days I'm real motivated. I'm like, oh, I got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. Some days I got nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to make it work for 3 hours.
Know.
Well, and here's the other thing, and this is why I can be a difficult person to work with, because you know how I feel about mistakes. I don't know. First of all, I don't know what the hell you laughing at, Rick. We've been doing this for too long for us to make simple mistakes. And so when something is messed up, and a lot of times when there's screw-ups here, y'all can't hear it. I can, because my ear is trained a little bit differently. But what I worry about is the quality of the broadcast that is going out to the people that listen, because you all deserve the highest quality broadcast possible with interesting, entertaining, and engaging topics that you all can use to better your lives or to win an argument or to be a much more informed voter or consumer or whatever. And I don't want anything to interrupt that, because you all deserve it. And I am in the frame of mind that Black Talk Radio needs to be of better and higher quality than anything out there, because we are judged more harshly than anyone that is out there. So I just get real mad when like little mistakes are made. And also, if the show is screwed up, I take responsibility for it. Even if it wasn't my fault, it's my name on the show, which is both good and bad. So if somebody else screws up, I still have to take responsibility for that, because their name ain't on the show. So that's why I just want to have a flawless show. Let's put it this way. I don't know how many shows I've done. My 1,000th radio show was November 16th, 2016. That was my 1,000th. And that was 9 years ago. So I don't know how many that I've done. I've had 5 perfect shows. In my mind, perfect means I executed everything the way I wanted to execute it. The way I have an understanding of a topic in my mind, I was able to get my mouth to communicate it. I didn't miss any commercial breaks. There was no long pauses between when we come back from break and the music. I stayed on track with the show that I laid down. That has happened 5 times. So it is extremely rare, but that is the standard that I hold myself to. So I would like to get a 6th perfect show. Now, every now and again, you guys will chime in and say, Sherwin, that show sucked. And I don't really take that personal, because some shows suck. We know that, and producers know that too. It's some days you're like, ooh, that was a bunch of garbage. That was crapola. But here's the other thing. My memory is very short term. So if I have a crappy show, here's what's weird. What I think is a crappy show are the ones that sometimes do the best. Like, oh, Sherwin, your show on Tuesday was great. I'm like, ugh, that show was garbage. So what we hear as hosts and producers can sometimes be a dramatic departure from what you all, the listening audience, hears. But if there is a crappy show where, stuff just doesn't go right, Bob and Israel call a bunch, and then Lisa calls a bunch, and then Alan will call, we can't stay on track, and we will do what is called flying off the rails.
Callers, though.
Sometimes.
I like Bob, and and everybody loves Al.
Not everybody.
Oh.
There's a lot of people that don't. Hell, for a while, management didn't want Al to call.
Yeah, that's true.
They really didn't. But also, I guess I can say this now. So when I came here, I had a decade of radio experience under my belt. And there were a lot of black folks that were here at 101. Hell, there's a lot of white folks. No experience in black radio. And so apparently there's some I don't know, book you're supposed to follow or a set of rules of how you do radio. If you're academically trained on how to do radio, there's probably do's and don'ts, and you're supposed to do this, supposed to do that. Black radio don't have those rules. And that's what I found difficult in communicating with my colleagues who were, and shout out to Cherie Harris, who was our first general manager. She ain't ever did black radio before, so she would hear some things that were astonishing. Rick, you remember the stuff we used to get away with at WNOV?
Oh, yes.
And now, if a caller does something, no, you have to hang up on them and ban them. 3 or 4. Here, Tory Lowe. When Tory Lowe was first on radio in the city of Milwaukee, he came on my show. And he'll tell this story to anybody who asks him. Tory used the level of profanity that blew my mind. And what do? We let him keep talking. And he was in studio with me, too. That was back when he was hardcore in his activism. He's like, Sherwin, do you know what we call this person? You know what we call them? Bloop, 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 bloop. I said, Tori, you can't say that. He's like, what you mean? I can't say bloop, 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 bloop. Tori, stop saying that. Whatever do you mean? I don't understand. What's so wrong with me saying bloop, 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 bloop? We just let him keep talking.
I think for what your show is now is more toned down now, because back then, it used to get real reckless.
I'm angrier now because I know more. Then I was just trying to put out as much information in however many hours my show was. I think have I always been 3 hours? No. I was 2, and then so when I first started, I was 2 hours, always by myself. They tried to put me with a co-host. That didn't work because I quit, because I just couldn't work with a co-host. And then what they did is I was somebody else's co-host. And I said, yeah, I can't work with this person. No offense to them or to you. It's just she and I don't work well together. And that was back when I wasn't taking radio seriously, because I had a whole bunch of other professional stuff going on. I was doing political campaigns. I found it more a better use of my time to help good people get elected than to do radio. Like, that is what my professional focus was for. I started managing campaigns in 2007 until I started radio. So for 5 years. And radio at the time was getting in the way of me doing that. And if they put me on with a co-host, and it also was very intrusive because this woman had a show already. And they're like, we want to add Sherwin to your show. And she didn't take too kindly to it because she liked having her own program. And they said, Sherwin, you're going to be on with so-and-so at 7 o'clock in the morning until, I think we were on till 9. And she and I it was Stephanie Finley. Ooh, we didn't get along. And I love Stephanie. I've known her for 25 years. But putting us, because she had her format for her show. And my programs, they didn't then, and they don't now. They don't follow a format that can be duplicated, because I allow the programs to grow organically. Like, if I get a thought, I'm going to say it. If y'all get a thought, you'll call in with it, or you'll text it, or you'll put it in the YouTube chat. And sometimes those random thoughts that aren't planned and scripted can make the best radio. And I like to be able to explore some of those thoughts that come up. So she was very regimented, which I respect. And then you got me over here, flying off the handle, and it just didn't work with she and I. So I was like, hey, I'm not going to do this show with her anymore. So I quit. And then what they ended up doing is they ended up firing her and giving me the show. Woo, she was mad. I mean, I love her to death. I ain't talked to her since, we ain't talked in a while, but we've made up. But for 4 or 5 years, she didn't talk to me at all. I was like, it wasn't even my fault. I tried to leave her with her show because I felt like I was intruding. And people have suggested that I get a co-host. They don't suggest that anymore. I'm good with certain guests. So here's an example. When Denise is here, she and I do fantastic segments together. In fact, Denise and I have chatted for an hour and a half, 2 hours before. Could I do a show with Denise every single day, 5 days a week? Hell no. Heliante. What the hell? What the heliante?
What the heli?
What the heli? There's no way. She and I are great. We get along together in small doses. But if I'm dealing with her 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, oh, my word. Because we're two real strong personalities. You know what I mean? Trash. Even though I did get her to call me daddy a couple times. But I couldn't do a show with her because our personalities are and we have just different perspectives on stuff. So that's that. So I'm very particular about my program. And also, I know that when people that are unfamiliar with the truth, because what is this radio? What is it even like? What's the theme of it? Because we're all so different. I don't know what. When Ben and Carrie, I'd love to sit down in their planning sessions because I wonder how those go because ain't no telling what they might talk about. And you guys know me, I do the political stuff and social issues. I'm real big on empowerment through information and through education. It's why I focus so much and talk so much about education. And not even just school education, but just knowing as much as you possibly can because it helps you. There's no information that is bad. You know, it can be useful in some form or fashion. and then using that information to better empower ourselves and our community. The biggest thing that we suffer from as an African-American community, and I know that black people are not the only ones that listen to this show, but let me be abundantly clear about this. I'm talking to black people. White folks, you're able to listen. Don't listen. Don't get it misconstrued. I talk to black folks. Like our conversation yesterday about race, I was having a conversation with an audience that I have been talking to and has been talking to me for 15 years. And then white folks who are unfamiliar with that dynamic that I have with my audience, white folks chime in and get the little feelings hurt. And here's the thing, and I know I got colleagues and coworkers that are sometimes offended by what I say, which is perfectly fine because you're not my audience. And you got to be okay with that. I think some people, when they listen to radio, they want to like be engaged with every topic and they want to agree with everything. If people are agreeing with my shows all the time, I'm screwing up. I'm messing up if everybody is agreeing. I'm supposed to bring up things and introduce ideas and topics that people have never heard of before, that sound foreign before, because it encourages you to do your own research. And I want you to get mad and get offended. Figure out why you're mad and offended, probably because stuff exists that you didn't know existed. That's a you problem. I'm here to help. White folks and other people, you're allowed to listen, but I'm talking to black people. Because here's the thing about you white folks. Y'all have everything you need. You have a country. You got a president, too. We don't have everything that we need. We don't have the information about you, how you operate, what you do to us, how you lie to us, how you deceive us, how you control, how you oppress through your control, how you limit, how you narrow. Like, I am here to explain that to black folks because we are the ones that are still getting hurt the most. And if white folks don't get it or don't understand it, don't make it about, Sherwin, you need to bring folks together. Screw you. And I mean that in the most disrespectful way possible because black folks are not the ones that drove people apart. Now, we may decide that we want to reject white people and whiteness and white nationalism and white supremacy. And if we decide to do that, that's on us for us to do that. But you can't say, well, black people need to just forgive and bring everybody together. I will never tell my people to shoulder that responsibility. Racism and white nationalism and white supremacy is a white people's problem. I'm going to tell you how black people are impacted by it, how we hate it, how it can narrow the trajectory of our lives. And if you as white people don't want to deal with that, if that makes you uncomfortable, again, that's a you problem. So I talk to black people. Occasionally I talk to the whites on rare occasion. But just know that when you are listening to this program, and I don't know what my colleagues on 1017 The Truth, what their aims are. I don't know what their goals are. But my goal is to empower the people that look like me in a community that was segregated by people that don't look like me. You understand? Okay, cool. I'm going to take a break now. We're going to come back, and we can talk about whatever we want. We can talk about Lisa's niece who's a dominatrix. We can talk about love, sex, relationships, the climate. Oh, I got it. Elon Musk called Donald Trump's signature legislation a massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill and a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it, said Elon Musk. Donald Trump responds on Truth Social and said Musk was wearing thin, that Donald Trump asked him to leave and that he took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted. He knew that for months. I was going to do it. He just went crazy. I got the feud between the ladies. Elon Musk and Donald Trump are having a lover's quarrel. I bet you they kissed. I bet you. Elon, there's no one in the Oval Office. Come here. But Donald, I don't know. I'm not really gay. Shut up. Come here. You smell good. Smell like cocoa butter. Come here, Elon. Oh, Donald, I'll only kiss you if you promise. You promise to keep my EV tax credit. I'll keep your tax credit. Come here. Let me hold you. I bet you they made out. And now they're breaking up. You know what I mean? Now Elon maybe found somebody else. Maybe Elon is now kissing a Democrat. So we'll talk about the feud between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. The two most influential men on planet Earth. The most powerful man on planet Earth, even if you don't like him, is Donald Trump. And the wealthiest man on planet Earth who launches our military satellites into orbit. They are using Starlink. The people in Ukraine are using his internet service so they're able to communicate on the battlefield. Elon Musk has a whole space program. He's a very powerful man, and he is in a big old feud with Donald Trump. So on the other side, I'm going to give you the highlights of these two hoes. The hoes is mad. They fighting each other. And, Jeffrey Epstein. Elon dropped the bomb. We know that Donald Trump was in there humping them 14-year-old girls. Come here. Give me some of that young freshman bottom end. Elon said the reason why the Jeffrey Epstein files have not been made public is because Donald Trump is all in them. We knew that. And so for all you righty, ultra-conservative, God-fearing, I love Donald Trump, MAGA people, what do you say about that? You always accuse the Democrats of being a pedophile. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. Well, they would fly like little girls to the island. They had freak-offs. They had freak-offs, too. How much baby oil was on Epstein's freak island? Diddy might have got his. He might have got his baby oil from Epstein. What if Donald Trump and Diddy traded baby oil like usage ideas? Damn. Take that. Diddy, I want to know, what do you do with the baby oil? I'm just curious. Where do you put it? Take that. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey, Truth Nation, it's your girl DT from The Truth Unfiltered with DT and Dr. Ken Harris. Now listen, at a critical time, through the Empowerment Small Business Loan Program, Old National Bank provided the resources I needed to sustain my business. Now the process had its challenges, but I was supported, and it was also an invaluable learning experience for future ventures. I am so grateful for the support that helped my business thrive. Old National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender, all loans subject to approval.
We believe that self-care isn't selfish. I'm Maddie from Sweet Talks, a woman-owned and operated medical spa fostering self-love and confidence. We believe that beauty is about feeling empowered from within, and it's truly a passion for our team at Sweet Talks. Your goals are our goals. Our services go beyond injectables, including facials, lasers, medical weight loss, hormone therapy, and more. There's even a cafe, complimentary to all patients. Get started today at Sweet Talks in Menominee Falls. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Here is Carrie Noni with her truth.
You know, sometimes the mundane isn't a burden, it's the beauty of living. I came to this conclusion after recently watching the movie Subservience on Netflix. It's a crazy film, y'all. I would suggest you check it out. But it's a story that explores our relationship with technology and how it's programmed to take our burdens away. This movie really got me thinking about how much we're wired to avoid struggle. We create tools and shortcuts to make life easier, whether it's robots, apps, or even outsourcing everyday tasks. But in the process, we risk forgetting the value of the little things we go through every day. Sure, folding laundry or grocery shopping might feel like chores. I literally dread cleaning up. But isn't there something grounding about them? Something that reminds us we're human. Life isn't just about the highlights or the easy parts. It's about the messy, repetitive, and sometimes inconvenient stuff too. Think about it. Who would you be if you didn't have to face the small frustrations that test your patience, or the routines that push you to show up for yourself or the people around you? The mundane moments, the ones we rush to escape, are often the ones that shape us. If life was nothing but convenience, where's the growth? Where's the grit that teaches us resilience? And most importantly, where's the appreciation for the moments that do take our breath away? So maybe the next time you find yourself annoyed by the daily grind and are on the brink of crashing out, you pause, you breathe, and remind yourself that the beauty of life isn't just in the big moments, but in every little thing that makes them possible.
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Listen to Jammin' with Juice with Ben Jammin' and Carrie Noni weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
my Chicago house techno album, I think it's going to be even better than Blue Mist. And Blue Mist, my first album, which is available everywhere. Blue Mist is a classic. Blue Mist is starting to pick up now. People starting to stream Blue Mist all over the country. But this album, the Chicago House album I'm working on, I think it's going to be colder. I'm always down for some techno music. I just love it. Like, this is what I put on when I want to go for a drive at night and just clear my head. Go down by the lake. Got my hand on the top of the steering wheel. Left hand on the steering wheel, right hand on that. If I got a passenger with me, you know what I'm saying? Just riding to this right here. And then all of a sudden my drive is interrupted by Bob.
Hello there, Sherwin. Before you were born, I think, I remember when Oprah Winfrey said, "You said we could talk about anything." I said, "Let me get in here, man. I can't believe it." 'Cause, and Oprah Winfrey whooped Donahue behind and got on. And she said one thing, and I wonder,
man, Oprah's talk show didn't start until like the mid '80s. How old
I know
do you think
she
I am,
whooped
Bob?
Donahue.
Bob, how old do you think I am?
You seem like sometimes you seem like you're 80, and sometimes you seem like you're 25.
How old am I, Bob?
Yeah, Sherwin, I
want you to guess.
40 or 50.
All right.
40 or 50.
All right.
So
you're talking about Oprah Winfrey and Phil Donahue.
And see, Oprah Winfrey, when I was broke, gambling like an idiot, I met Oprah.
When was that?
None of your business, Sherwin. I don't need to tell you that. Because then let me finish. And then Oprah Winfrey knocked Oprah. And he was surprised that I like Oprah. I don't care if she gives to a lot of white people. I like Oprah. I just love Oprah. And I just love Michael Jordan. Them two people, I don't care if he's married to a white woman. I just love them two. And one question I want to ask you about Oprah said, when you weren't born or you were young, what Oprah said, and I want to hear your analysis of it. What Oprah, and then I'll get off the air then. What Oprah said was, black people cannot be prejudiced because we have institutional racism. They can only complain about it, but they can really not be prejudiced.
Oprah didn't say that.
Because
I know Oprah didn't say that. She might say we can't
she did.
We can't be racist. Everybody can prejudge. A child can prejudge something. She might have said we can't be racist because we don't have institutional power to stop white people from voting or to limit white people's rights and to interfere with their liberty and their due process. We don't have that kind of institutional power. I agree to some extent. There are exceptions, but to some extent, I agree that black people collectively, because there's just not enough of us. There's not enough of us to be able to control all of the systems in a society in order to oppress a group that is much larger than us. So as a minority, we don't control enough to be able to actually oppress anyone. Therefore, we can't be institutionally racist, but we can be prejudiced. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, I appreciate it. Now let me ease off the air. We on a good light, and I like us to stay like that if possible, because you're an honorary man. You know that. I'll talk to you later, sir. I better hang up.
You know what's crazy? When I don't even say nothing, I just don't even, he just starts laughing. Y'all ever notice that? Bob, let me ease on off the air now, because you ornery, and I don't say nothing, because I don't want to keep his ass on the phone longer. So he's, now, let me ease on off the air, and I let him ease off. If he's easing off, then you don't need me to say anything because I'm going to interrupt his easing off. So he's easing off. I'm letting him ease off. And what do? What's so funny? Ease off. Ease off the air. Nobody needs to laugh at that.
Watch your mouth.
We watch your mouth. Hi, Al. How are you?
Okay. I'm doing good. You know, I'm sitting here thinking, I figure when I go out tonight, I think I'm going to do some Queen Latifah, How Do I Love Thee. And then when I step out the car, I'm going to do some NWA, I'd Rather. But, you know, I know I heard Bob talking. I think when you try to oppress people, it gives Pussy Willow vibes. So we don't want to impress because that's saying you don't have enough to sustain what you're trying to accomplish. So it's some lack of confidence right there, you know, because they don't want you to, you know, show up and show out and let them know what you're all about.
You didn't.
But
hold on a second. Hang on a second. You didn't. Whatchamacallit? What's the button called?
What?
No, I'm talking to my producer because he thinks you can't say Pussy Willow.
A flower.
No, you can say Pussy Willow. A Pussy Willow is a plant. They just get too nervous in my producer studio about words. Because if you look it up on Google, well, make sure you put the willow onto it. If you look up Pussy Willow, you're actually going to see it's an actual plant. So you're okay, Al. I just want to make sure that they didn't censor you. All right.
Oh, okay. First thing, and also I want to say with this Sade, you know, I think he had kind of filled her out. You know, because a lot of times they'll try to size you up. If she was one of them women who went by like the nickname of Queen Shownuff, Madam Mahogany, nickname Trouble or Infinity, I don't think he would have tried that. I think he probably had it within his heart to do something like that, but I would encourage all black women, you got to be very, very, very careful when dealing with other cultures, because sometimes they look at you with other motives. Even though I'm not saying, you know, all of them are bad, but some of them have, you know, other ideas and other goals. So I want to encourage all of you, get you a nice lady derringer. It's nice, it's big enough you could pop them in the eye or shoot one of them in their nuts, so they can know they does not mess with Queen Shownuff. Because, see, a lot of them have little ideas and little things they want to try to do. So, I also want to say to the women, don't be so quick to feel comfortable when it comes to the skin color. Because I have seen that most black men, they can pretty much take care of themselves, but some of them got too comfortable, and now they're maggot food. But especially when it comes to our black women, don't be so quick to get comfortable when you see the skin color. Because if you size him up, and I'm not putting him, he didn't look too great. On a scale of 1 to 10, I say a good 4.5. And sometimes they'll see that skin color and feel they're comfortable when they might have another plan for you. So when in doubt, you let that lady there, shoot his way out. So I just want y'all to be a little careful. And before you leave that table, you make sure that drink is gone. Because he might try to put a little something up in you, or if you want to play like you lightly inebriated, he'll reveal all his weaknesses, and then he can be the prey. Because we always going to catch them with their pants down. And I also feel like, it's just a little excessive to cut somebody up like catfish. Because usually, if it is a transaction, he would have paid all that before versus luring her to a park. And I just think it's a little excessive. But I think it's something real deep that's going on. And they never talked about that other blood that was in that dungeon. Kind of brings up race play. But women, just be careful and always have you some smoke. So when they stand up, you stand up. Don't shoot them in the chest. Either shoot them in the eye so they walk around here like Ray Charles, or shoot them in the nuts. You call them One Nut Willie. All right, y'all a good day. Have a great weekend, everybody. Let's get it.
Thank you. Ladies, don't shoot anyone in the nut or in their eye. Don't call anybody one. You know what's crazy? There's probably a man somewhere in the world whose name is Willie that actually has one nut that just heard that. He was like, hey, that's not very funny. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's Dr. Ken Harris, and you can watch me now live on YouTube every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m., and you can watch the best radio show in Wisconsin by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Watch me explore the issues which are shaping our community while also having fun discussions, pop culture, current events, all kind of stuff going on right here on YouTube right now by subscribing to 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
For over 50 years, Cousin Subs has celebrated and embraced the traditions of their home state of Wisconsin. And now, Cousins will be honoring a Wisconsin tradition like no other with their Pull Tab giveaway promo. Now through July 6th, while supplies last, guests will receive a Cousins Pull Tab with a sub or sub-inable purchase for a chance to win Cousin Subs for a year and much more. For additional info and official rules, visit cousinsubs.com/pull-tabs. One pull tab per customer per transaction per day. To receive a pull tab with no purchase necessary, see official rules.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Hurt by a truck? Call Gruberg offices. One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune into the award-winning 1017 The Truth's Black Business Give Back Spotlight today at 3:57 p.m. We will be joined by Erica Odom, owner of Odom Investments and Property Management. We will discuss how they are making a difference in the real estate world through their property management services and by offering competitive prices to buy your home. So again, tune in to the Black Business Give Back Spotlight with Odom Investments and Property Management today at 3:57 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. And for those of you that are interested in becoming a homeowner, tomorrow, Saturday, June 7th, at Greater New Birth, there's going to be a home ownership fair, and it's going to go from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Food, prizes, giveaways, activities for the kids. You can learn about down payment and closing costs, grants up to $10,000 to $30,000, $20,000 in forgivable loans available to renovate city-owned property. So if you buy one of those foreclosed properties, they got free money for you to buy one of those and renovate it. You can sign up for home buyer education workshops. You can get pre-approvals for mortgages. Whole bunch of things going on tomorrow at Greater New Birth from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Housing Resources Inc. Home Ownership Fair. And Greater New Birth is located at 8237 West Silver Spring Drive. That is 8237 West Silver Spring Drive. Having a big old home ownership fair. Tomorrow, when you get there, tell them good old Sherwin Hughes sent you. All right, let me see what these hoes is talking about. Not the hoes that you think. Donald Trump and Elon Musk, them hoes are going at it. They're having a very public feud because, I don't know, Elon found another love interest or something. Elon Musk accuses Donald Trump of ingratitude. Elon Musk posted, quote, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House of Representatives and Republicans would be in a 51-49 majority in the Senate. Such ingratitude," Elon Musk said, and he referenced the $270 million he spent backing Trump and the Republicans. That part cuts deeper. If Elon Musk is talking about, oh, Donald Trump is, he's ungrateful for all the help, that's one thing, but saying, I spent $270 million on you, like, that's embarrassing. To have it be made public, even though we knew it, like, that hits hard. Because if another man said, well, guess what, Sherwin, I gave you $20,000. I gave you money. You was too broke to pay for it yourself. That's pride reducing for a man. To know that another man sons you like that, woo, that's embarrassing. Elon Musk calls for Donald Trump's impeachment. So when Musk posted this on his platform X, this is where I tweeted as well that the Dems should consider having a conversation with Elon Musk, and let me tell you why. Some of you may not like Elon Musk because of his involvement with the Trump administration, him being a part of MAGA, and, his attempted influence of the state Supreme Court race here and Doge and all those other things. But if Donald Trump and Elon Musk have a falling out, and if the falling out is permanent, remember, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. If Elon Musk really wants to get back at Donald Trump and he can use some of that Elon Musk unlimited money to help good Democratic candidates get elected to the U.S. Senate coming up in 2026 and to the House, I think the Democrats could benefit from that even better than the Republicans did. Because what the Republicans are doing with their leadership is they're trying to destroy the country. The Democrats will rebuild it. So even if there is a Democrat that gets elected with Elon Musk's money, I trust them more to be good stewards of the law and of the Constitution than any Republican that get elected by that same money. Because that is how the Democrats push back on Donald Trump, by abiding by the law, being honest, being just, being truth, and reinstating due process. So with morality, if the Democrats get elected, that is how they can punish Trump more than any other kind of way. And I know that some of y'all feel some kind of way about money in politics, but ladies and gentlemen, that is the lay of the land. So I suppose this saga will continue to unfold, and I'll certainly keep you posted. What did we learn today? If you're going to be involved in a transaction with someone for physical attention and physical intimacy, just make sure all parties agree on the terms. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time.